Welcome to the first annual Cosmic Kickback Valentine's Day special. Love is in the air. Ain't that right, boys?
Not for everybody.
That's what we're here to talk about. Valentine's Day 2020. We got the boys here. We got Cody and Jaden, first time being on the cast together. Elijah's returning from the love episode we talked about.
I only pop up on these ones.
He only talks about love. That's
Yeah.
Elijah's.
Not really. I mean, from the last episode, he didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So, you ready for this, Nick?
Yeah.
So, what are we discussing for the Valentine's Day?
How do y'all feel about Valentine's Day? I don't know. Just talk about.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, like, what are y'all's opinions on the holiday? Let's start with Cody.
Jaden, your opinion on love recently changed.
Ooh.
So who?
Well, I mean, first of all, like,
Oh,
happy
I
Valentine's Day to everyone who's watching, whether you got a Valentine or not.
Wait, are y'all gonna post like on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, this is coming out Valentine's Day.
No, we're posting on Christmas.
Yeah, so happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Whether you got one or not. If you don't got one, Nick's right here. He'll take anyone.
Text me,
So,
He said, bro.
bro. I mean, girls too.
Bro, so.
Jaden, so what you think?
About what?
Do you want to go over everyone? I mean,
Yeah,
I think we did this in the
like,
last one, but we can talk like.
That's such a vague question. What do you think? I think many things.
Wait, you got a Valentine?
Huh?
You got a Valentine?
I don't know.
Bro,
Dude, come
here
on.
we go, dude.
Stop.
I'll let somebody else answer first.
Okay, Cody can start first.
We'll go from left to right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen the holiday. I've never even seen it as like a holiday because like nobody gets off for it. Like you work.
It's not
then-
really a national
And
holiday.
then
I would say.
even if you have like a significant other, you just hang out with them almost like any other day.
Wait,
The
you get-
only thing different
you
is
get
the
chocolates.
chocolates.
Saying
Yeah, the
Chocolates
chocolates
and
are just
flowers.
shaped
But you could do
different.
that any other day.
Chocolates
Exactly.
are shaped differently.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't know. My opinion, it's not like that significant.
Okay.
Even if you have someone, it's like you're gonna hang out with them anyways.
Okay.
I
Nick?
don't know.
Just my thoughts on it.
Well, I mean,
Like the holiday or like.
you got a different perspective than Cody
Hopefully.
because like right now,
Hopefully.
because Cody kind of just like Cody, you know, he's chilling, he's drifting.
Yeah.
I agree.
You was recently committed, but now you're more so.
It's been like 7 months.
You're free, yeah.
I'm free.
You're free at the moment. So has your perspective changed at all, or like, what do you think about it?
The holiday's obviously different if you're single.
Yeah.
How? It's just another holiday.
Well, you gonna have a Valentine anyway?
I hope so.
You
I
got
hope so.
You said that last time too, though.
Yeah.
I did.
So-
That's like saying Christmas is different because you don't have any presents.
What?
Wait, what?
Well, Christmas could be different because you're not Christian.
Yeah.
If like people,
Okay, well,
some
yeah,
people
nah.
celebrate
Are
Hanukkah.
you talking about? Okay, I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
What's the difference between Hanukkah and Kwanzaa?
Well, Hanukkah is a Jewish holiday, and I think Kwanzaa is
I think Kwanzaa's African, right?
African. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, but like, what's the difference?
It's the name.
Give us some.
Probably,
Besides
yeah.
the name, and the origin.
the meaning behind it.
Well, I know.
obviously.
Okay, well, like
Happy Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa, we're talking on the Valentine's Day special about Kwanzaa, but I know Hanukkah.
It's already kind of straight.
I know Hanukkah.
Christmas.
It's like, isn't it like you get a gift each
Is there
day
red
for
wine
each
on
like
the
Pretty
each
much.
of the candles?
Yeah.
What's Kwanzaa? Is
Where
there
on
different
the screen?
candles, different gifts, or
top
I
right.
couldn't
Elijah?
tell you.
What?
do you know?
The audio is included.
I thought it was an African holiday.
It is, but I don't know it.
Okay. All right, so continue, Nick.
Just said that.
Dude, it's fine. It's a
What did you
joke.
say? I wasn't even listening, bro.
I asked Elijah to tell me about the about Kwanzaa because it's an African holiday.
Give us
Oh.
some
See if
insight.
you can tell. You said he didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Give us some insight.
Yeah, we're good.
Uh,
Continue, Nick.
I don't know. I mean, this is like. I think this is the first Valentine's Day actually that I've been single.
Like ever?
Actually,
What?
like no. Sophomore year Valentine's Day, I was single, and after that,
So since-
I got a girlfriend.
So sophomore. So
Since
that's
sophomore, it's been.
that's like 4 years. So this is your
No way. Really?
sophomore.
Don't ask us. It's
Jeez.
you.
Talking to myself.
Sophomore, junior,
Let me-
senior.
Let me confide it.
We had our first year in college, and then we're in our second right now. That's 4. So you had 3 years.
No, 3 years. 3 years. Because then it was sophomore year going into junior year.
Yeah.
Because I got with my girl at sophomore, junior year. Junior year. I got with her junior year after Valentine's. So then
Okay.
it's like
So 3 years.
senior, freshman. Yeah, 3 years.
Okay.
Damn, I
So
went
what's your-
stupid there for a second. I was
Sounded like you were when you were like stating the facts. Like it sounded like you were asking yourself questions.
like, really?
Because you were like three years.
I don't think
It was
about
3
bro.
years.
I think it was.
It was 3 years. You said it like 5 times. You're like,
Say it one more time. I'll be convinced.
I think it was 3.
So
I
That's
don't
it?
know.
What
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've been
That's
single for a while, so I don't really. I'm kind of just chilling. I think I'm gonna watch a movie with myself.
what plans do you have for Valentine's Day?
Well, if I do have a date, I might go
He
to
could
the.
actually potentially have a date, but Nick's not. I'm not taking the advice that I'm giving him. That I have.
What
given
advice
him.
do you know? You just got a girlfriend. You think you're all that?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh,
I'm not
beef.
saying that.
You
I
know
never said that at
everything.
all. I never said that at all.
Beef. Oh,
What
no.
didn't she say?
I never
You
said that at all. I
insinuated.
just said just take the chance and ask her. That's all I said. Sometimes the greatest risks have the greatest output, Nick.
Or they will put you in a pit of depression.
It's true. That's why it's called a risk.
So we gotta have
It's
Michael
true.
on here, man.
It's called chance.
Michael's had the greatest like quantity of asks, so
Oh, okay.
he'd have the most experience.
You thought that was going somewhere.
Wait, he's put up a lot of shots, but how many has he actually made? He could be going like 8 of 24.
Hey, if you shoot
Some of
100
them
shots, but you make one of
Some
them,
of them
like,
are air balls.
come on,
True.
bro.
I guess Michael's living the philosophy: you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I
It's
guess.
just like so now you're just throwing
So
up everything.
You miss 100% of the shots you take.
Just throws everything up.
I mean
there.
that philosophy is good, but I mean at least be smart about your shots.
Instead of 100, he takes 1,000,000 shots. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
That's true. That's true.
So then
So
he
you-
gets
And he's missing wide open
Yeah,
lips.
I don't know. I might be doing something. Hopefully Valentine's Day. If you're listening to this, Nick, on Valentine's Day, keep your fingers crossed.
if you're
if you're listening to
rooting
this
for
on
you.
Valentine's Day, you
I'm
found
talking to
it.
myself.
You don't have a tape. You're listening
No, I'm
to
talking
this.
to myself in the future because I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, but if you
I
do
hope
on
you haven't done-
Valentine's Day, then that means you're
Yeah.
doing nothing.
Well, no, you can still
Oh
listen
yeah.
to it.
Okay,
He's like, oh
Nick.
yeah.
I hope you don't listen to this because you better be doing something. But if
Nice.
not, I might just chill and just watch a movie. And
I feel you.
about
Your
it.
turn, huh?
date my dog.
I'll
sipping
come
to you
over
guys.
after.
Yeah, bro.
You
come
don't
on.
want to go?
What do you want me to say?
Well, I mean, what do you want us to say
Well,
on the
I was
holiday?
going to the guest, and then I just included Nick.
Okay.
So now I like giving guests the first opportunity. To
So, what kind of commentary would you like on the holiday?
What do you think about it?
Well, like, you
You
got any
recently got into a
plans?
relationship.
Well, all right.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
Jim, give us some backstory.
Share your
so
feelings,
it's just
bro.
like, I
Yeah,
mean, all right. So
share
the
your
holiday,
feelings,
the holiday
express
itself,
yourself.
the holiday itself, right? I think the holiday is just, I think it's kind of pointless, honestly.
Do you have a Valentine?
Huh?
Do you have a Valentine?
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
Oh, you do.
yeah.
Would you like to shout her out?
Huh? No, I'm
No.
not. I'm not a big fan of the name dropping, especially if it's going public. I mean, last episode y'all was just dropping names left and right, like nobody's business.
We try
In
not
our
to.
defense,
especially
though,
Chris.
we're-
Try not
in
to.
our
It was like,
defense,
chill
we're bad at
if
it.
you listen. Yeah.
Especially.
I mean, we
Chris,
try not to, but
I'm
in
gonna
all
let you know.
honesty, like when you're telling the story, a lot of times you get caught up in telling
Yeah.
it. and
Yeah,
forget.
and then once one person name drops, it's like, all right, we'll just forget it then. Might as well.
Yeah, I thought about editing it out the names, but then I was like, I'm not doing all that.
You're like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah. I
important.
mean, the holiday itself. I mean,
Where did it
I don't
even
think it-
originate from? Was it just like
it's something about the actual
Like Saint
Saint Valentine.
Valentine.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it was
okay.
during ancient Roman times.
okay?
I think it was something about like people, something like I guess people weren't allowed to get married under certain Roman laws, and so he did it underground. It's really
Wait,
yeah.
wait,
it's-
you just went from knowing like absolutely nothing about it to
no, I think it's something along that line. I'm not 100%
Should
sure,
look up the
but
wiki right now.
I guess it's history behind it. But
Okay.
yeah, holiday not really that special. I don't think.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna do
How did
anything for
even-
it?
So
I'm gonna do something for
What are
it.
you gonna do? What are your plans?
What are my plans?
Yeah.
You don't have to
you
give
know,
us an exact plan, but if you're gonna do
I'm
something,
gonna do a little
that's
bit of
good.
this, a little bit of that.
Well, don't
No,
think-
you gotta at least give a description. You
Don't-
get to say, I'm gonna do something. Like, come on.
Don't think you're like spoiling it because this isn't gonna come out till like the day.
No,
Yeah. She's like listening in the morning.
Yeah,
hour.
yeah. She probably doesn't even listen to our podcast.
I'm actually taking someone out on a date.
You gotta put the audience
like
thing.
dinner.
the
Like
iCarly.
iCarly the button.
Yo, should edit those in. Freaking studio.
Nah, do the laughing one.
When someone walks in.
No, yeah, I was going on a date.
That's it. Well, you what? Bro? Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm just going on a
Like
date.
dinner.
Yeah, I'll get her a gift.
You gonna make a whole day of it, or just like at nighttime?
No, because I actually have class that day, so it's gonna be like more like the second
Oh, you
half.
do have.
Yeah,
I don't go.
the second half of the day, it'll be like all like us like.
Where are you
know,
gonna eat?
I don't know. Yeah, that's actually one thing I haven't
You
decided.
can eat at Perry's.
Oh, so you don't.
What's
you
Ooh,
don't-
Perry's?
that would be nice. That would be
Oh,
nice.
Perico's?
Okay.
What restaurant, Tom?
It's,
Perry's.
it's
Perry's
probably better than you don't
Steakhouse,
know.
dog.
Oh,
At
I know
Stockton,
nothing about the date.
That place is.
Even Elijah knows
Okay.
that. I'm just talking some
Nah,
things.
that's
Took some
about,
things
that's
out there.
about it.
They
I
have
don't
like
think the
they have like
actual holiday itself is
$95
special
steak.
because it's just like
wings.
the type of thing.
But is
I
the
think.
person
Jen's not
special?
going.
That's the
Okay, yeah.
question.
So the
Actually, the
person's
whole menu
special.
is-
Jaden's
But my
not
thing
going.
behind it is like
There's no way.
the things that you do on. All right, so say if you are in a relationship, the special things that you would do on Valentine's Day, I think are better to do on just a random day because it just shows you, like how much you care
Like
about
you're
the
thinking
person.
more.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still good, I guess, to do something on Valentine's Day because the reputation it has.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel you.
I'm excited for it.
How did it even grow in like popularity from like
It's
when it
gotta
was
be
formed?
Government mandated so they can so they can like get the economy flowing by all the candy and stuff they're buying.
No, I think I don't know if it's government mandate. I
I
wanna
mean,
go so
it's
far
not
as to say
mandated.
that.
Like, you don't have to do it, but there's certain
Dictatorship.
holidays that have been made, like
It's commercialized.
I feel-
Father's
I
Day
feel like
and
it's-
Mother's Day
it's
used to not
marketed.
Black
exist.
Friday. That's
And stuff like that. So now
that's
it's
a
like
commercialized
ways
holiday.
where people are gonna go and buy stuff.
It's
because
just
they feel
it's
like
just
they have to do
companies.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
companies. They're just marketing it.
Has there been
So-
a holiday we've ever just stopped?
Either that
celebrating?
or it's like just the culture.
I don't really
living.
celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
That's what's keeping it going. It's
Yeah.
companies and
Like,
stuff.
I
Just
mean,
like
I
I
feel
feel like
like
people just use that as
Yeah,
an
yeah,
excuse
yeah.
to party.
Yeah, for sure people do that.
Like, I'm not Irish, but I still
I mean, I'm part Irish, but like, I don't even.
Dang.
Michael's like probably like 0.5% if anything, and that dude acts like he's like full blown 90% Irish. He was just like Connor McGregor. Let's go.
Hey, can we insert the clip? Does anybody have the clip?
Oh, if I have the clip, I'll put it in.
Well, I'm sure
Of him
somebody
cheering
has the
for
same.
him.
Yeah, this
Oh,
dude
God.
flipped out.
I've
It sounded like Morty.
Yeah, let's go to you, Elijah.
But I don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
You didn't even give your mom a card. Your
No,
mom's
I
not your
don't.
Valentine Day.
No, I don't celebrate.
Why
Valentine's
do you
Day.
have an opinion on it though?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
on the
I
holiday
don't
itself?
celebrate it.
No, I know, but
Never
like,
have, never will.
Do you have an
Yeah.
opinion?
It's like,
on
what's
it,
your
though?
opinion on
Come
it?
on, bro. You're just saying I don't do it.
Yeah, I just don't do it.
But what's your opinion behind it? Like your
I
reason?
think it's a stupid holiday.
I agree.
So far, we're at
Reasonings?
like a consensus.
Reasonings.
I mean,
Dude,
I
it's
don't
It's a
have to have
podcast.
reasons. I mean, like I said, I just don't celebrate that.
It seems
I don't
like everybody's
celebrate
It
that.
just
What's
seems like
the
a
reasoning
roast
of
hall
it?
for
What?
freaking Valentine's.
Because I just think it's pointless.
Yeah, so
Okay,
far,
the
like
reasoning.
No one likes
Because I
it.
think it's
yeah,
pointless.
we're like
Why?
4 for 5.
Why?
The background. Come on, we need
Do you
the
think
meat.
Josh is gonna be the
there
one?
is no background. I just don't
I
celebrate.
think Josh
it.
gonna be the one where he's like, oh, it's like
I
it's
think
like the
he'll
most
agree with us,
magical
but
holiday
since he's
ever.
in a longer relationship, it'll be more meaningful.
We'll see. I'm gonna go after Elijah.
I think
I
Elijah
just said I
said
don't celebrate it.
Is that you're not?
that's the
gonna- you're
fourth
not
time he
gonna
said
allow-
that. He's
Well,
done.
I never celebrated it, and I never will.
Did
so I
you?
don't-
Did you not in elementary school when they would give?
I mean,
up,
they
It's not the
had
question
that
we
cel- but I
asked.
mean, that was kind of like.
did you have?
Dude, that
That
was
was
a-
just kids. That was just kids.
Dude,
Like,
yeah,
but
in
you still
in
have
elementary
fun.
school, they were forced to give you like things so you felt special.
well, no,
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
honestly,
In high
everybody just did it for the candy. That's like,
Yeah,
all
I
we did it for the
100%
candy.
agree.
those
yeah.
little like
Yeah.
heart shaped.
I feel like when you're a kid, it's just like
writing.
Halloween because you're like, oh, I
Exactly,
could get
yeah,
like a box of
yeah.
chocolates or
You
something.
Dude,
grow out of
in
it.
elementary school, I never thought it was like anything romantic. I just thought it was.
You remember in
just
like
kinda-
middle school and I think high school when you could send people cards with like a
Oh,
lollipop on
yeah,
it or
yeah.
something
Oh,
stupid
yeah.
or like
Nick
a little
sent me
stuffed
one.
animal.
I sent you a boogram. That was for
Yeah.
Halloween.
Call
Still
me his
have
Like
boo.
that face. You have to zoom in on that.
What?
Cody's face. We're gonna have to like.
Yeah, just like
whenever
the
somebody says something dumb, just put that up on the screen.
You gotta meme edit the whole thing. Just like
I used to do that to my YouTube videos. I would meme the hell out of them.
Yeah, you always
I
put
would
can't
the
put it
bro
on
sound.
shapes and stuff.
Be like, bro.
oh, you used to go hard.
You gotta start
I
making. You
would
gotta
put
start making
so much
videos
stuff.
again.
No, yeah, I'm going to once I get a camera. I have ideas.
Just make gaming ones for now too, like we did.
My
We gotta
Elgato's
do
old,
another
though.
one.
Oh my god,
Dude,
this
I'll
scary
take
game.
Michael. I'll go to Michael's house and steal his Elgato because he's not even using it.
What?
You know Michael's Elgato?
Michael's
He-
listening right
he,
now.
He
Like,
has like the $200 version,
bro,
like the
where my
newest
Elgato?
one with like 60 frames and like
Oh yeah, I know. He got a
all
good
that.
one.
He's got it, and his computer is so old it can't even work.
I thought he got a new one. He didn't get it yet.
He said he did, but he said
We
it still
could-
doesn't work.
we
He's
should
gonna get
do
another
something
new
like
one.
that.
His monitor has lower stats than my cell phone.
Oh,
It'd be cool if you were there because I know you don't like scary stuff.
It has like a less refresh
I don't
rate
either,
and hertz. Well,
It
that's the
was still
same
pretty
thing, but
fun.
I like how
I just know it has lower stats than
We
my phone.
mean Cody hard.
we
bro,
keep going
towards
astray
the end.
from the topic.
Yeah, no.
yeah.
no, what I don't want to happen is when it's 5 people, 2
No, yeah,
conversations.
I'm
Yeah,
talking to
yeah,
Cody.
Because like
Yeah,
somebody's
yeah.
gonna, it's gonna be listening. It's
That
like 2
last part-
conversations on each.
We're
group.
sorry.
Okay, yeah, we gotta.
That last part.
We already
sounded
did
Stay
that.
unified.
Yeah.
We already did that because he was like, "Is that red light on?" And then y'all three were talking, and then I was just like,
I was trying to whisper it to you, bro.
I
Let's
don't
go ahead
think
and
it's
start
on.
over from the beginning.
Oh
Okay,
gosh.
yeah.
Well, this is the struggle of like starting a podcast, I guess.
I think there's a way to mix it
No,
well,
yeah, we
to
got
where
them
it's
all.
to where it's not like.
Yeah.
I team.
Well, all right. Well, like Josh has to give his opinion now. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
I
asked-
I
asked the
mean,
guests.
I think it's a holiday. I don't think it's
Oh
any.
god,
What, bro?
this is what we waited for.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the
Right,
guests
that was
go.
more vague than mine.
Well, dude, no, like
I did. Josh already gives a big answer.
It's definitely a
obviously-
holiday.
obviously, since I'm the only one in a relation. Actually, no, Jaden's in one now.
Maybe I should go on a double date.
iCarly.
Yeah, we should.
Applause.
Oh yeah. So
no.
never mind. I'm not the only one in a relationship. Jaden is here as well. But since I'm in a relationship, I have
No, I am.
I have to celebrate it. Like I'm
It's like you get
mandated.
picked for a prize.
Like I feel like if you're in a relationship, it's kind of like something you have to do. Like you can't really get around it.
You don't
But
have to do it.
okay, but you have to
Somebody
agree
with
with each other.
somebody,
Like you have to
They're not
tell
getting anything.
you guys both got to be like, oh, like we're both not gonna celebrate it right, or we'll just get cards. Like you don't want someone to go all out, and the other person's like, ooh, we was doing that. Like you just got like a card.
was doing
I'm not even buying the car, bro.
I would
stop.
I would
Dude,
hope that
real
I would hope that they
big time
know me
facts.
enough to be like, oh, he's not gonna like care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
No, yeah. But
Like I want us to both be on the same page to where it's just like
Don't,
we
yeah,
just
don't
hang out and we're
mind
like, oh,
being-
what's up? It's like
yeah.
oh,
Well, by like the last 2 years, I've gotten like the normal stuff, you know, like a stuffed
Chocolates,
animal and like a
flowers, yeah.
heart-shaped box of chocolates and stuff like that. This year, I already told Emily, I was like, dude, I spent so much money during Christmas, and I spent so much money recently with like stuff, and I was just like, dude, like I don't know if I have it in me to drop money right now. I could if I wanted to. But I don't know if I want to, just because it's so much. Like the candies, I don't know if they raised the price around this time, like
It's
without,
inflation.
like they put like $1 up without telling no one.
probably I'm sure because who looks at it like
Yeah, I don't.
they don't even
whenever
sell
I
them.
buy, if I ever buy candy, I never look at the price because
Well,
it's only like
well, they
$1
don't
or
even
$2.
sell those assorted ones like year long. I mean, they do, but not in like the containers and stuff.
So
There you go. Talk about candy prices.
Right.
Well, I mean, but this
could
is
be an
it's
economic
part-
study.
this is more related,
Yeah.
No, I'm still
relatable than
thinking if
Christmas.
It's been 3 years since I've
You're
been.
still on that?
I'm like,
still thinking.
He's just
Holy crap.
you're gonna see him and, like in the video, just like
it's fake, right?
He's over here just like,
No, but like obviously I'm
staring
gonna
at his phone while
I'm
it's
gonna
off.
do something with Emily. I'm not sure what yet. We're probably gonna.
all those?
We
I was
wanna
actually
out
thinking
of this.
about going there.
It's really. I think you'd like.
Because
it.
they moved it, right?
It's
to
over.
Paris.
Yeah. Now it's over. Up towards Bernie,
You got to go to Paris.
but not that far.
I thought you
Yeah, I
said
think I
Paris
might.
for a second. I was like,
Dude, what's that one steak place?
Oh, Myron's.
That place is expensive.
Oh.
It is, but it's so worth it.
Ooh, dude.
That's, I would. I mean, you don't have to go all out.
No, I'm not for Valentine's. Day. I
I'll
would do
take
that
them to
for like my
McDonald's,
21st
bro.
birthday.
dollar menu.
Dollar menu McDonald's. No, yeah, I think all Emily and I are gonna do is I think we're just gonna chill and like watch a movie, and she gave me a code.
Oh, shit.
Bro, why would I not name drop?
I said that earlier. I was like name drop.
No,
She's been on here.
she has a Postmates.
Yeah,
code.
she has been over here.
She has a Postmates code where it's like, oh, like get free like pint of ice cream, and she was like, let's use this on Valentine's Day, and I was like, okay.
Honestly, that's good. Like I would rather take someone out to like an expensive dinner if it's like we've been dating for 3 years rather than some
Like an
Valentine's
anniversary?
Day. Valentine's Day, I would just stay in and watch a movie and do something like cheap and cozy and all that. And like I would spend money on something that's more worthwhile in our relationship rather than just like a holiday that comes every year and it's like, bro, I gotta drop $200 on this.
Yeah. I mean, I've never.
$200. Who drops 200?
What did you get in the past?
No, it's
Have you gone hard in the past, Nick, on Valentine's Day?
I think 1 year
You just
my
mentioned a
past
steep price
girlfriend
tag.
got like a box of like all of our. I think I actually still have it upstairs.
Oh, she made it for you.
Yeah, it's like a
I'm gonna
box
check
and
my
like you
Snap
open it up
memories.
and it's like all of like
I seriously don't know.
memories and stuff.
I feel
Actually,
like-
I don't know if that's from our year or like just for Valentine's Day. But
You know, stuff like that, like stuff that's like sentimental, that doesn't cost any money. It's just like you see the amount of effort that they put into it.
Yeah,
I
when
think
they-
that stuff's more than like getting
when they make it, I'm like,
expensive chocolates.
I think for Valentine's Day, I would consider that going more over the top than buying stuff.
like making
Making
stuff.
Like if they made, because he was like, oh yeah, it was like a pop up box or
something that you
whatever that you
open and it's
open
like,
up, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would be
could-
like,
so
that's
if
too
you were,
much.
So if you were with some chick and she's like, Cody, look what I made you, you'd be like,
just give me chocolates.
So
you'd be like, oh,
Like you could have just bought me candy, man.
Valentine's is always on the February.
it's always
14th.
14th.
Okay.
I could have sworn it was always Thursday, but it's Friday this year.
I was looking.
Bro,
Oh,
leap
it's
year.
because it's a leap year.
Leap year, bro.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
like, Michael's turning 5 this year.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Dude, what is a leap year? Can you explain that real
It's
quick?
like
I know it's
every
like when
5 years there's the 29th, and
So,
every other year.
so
it's
Michael's
28
birthday
days.
is like on the 29th.
Because
So-
the Earth.
oh, so he was born on a leap year.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
the
The year
born.
isn't a perfect 365 days or 300. Yeah,
It's
65.
an extra fourth.
It's there's like a
Yeah.
fourth. That's why every couple years you got to get that little extra.
So Michael like technically doesn't have
a real
like a birthday.
He only has a real birthday.
Well, every
about
once in a while.
5.
He has like a birth
Oh
five.
my gosh.
Technically.
Y'all are just like dragging this dude through the mud, bro.
No.
Y'all
It's
like
like
saying he has a
technicality.
birthday, like this dude isn't even human,
Yo,
bro.
he doesn't have.
Dude, Michael
does.
Rights. You're like a
We're-
Michael Rights activist.
We're not over here like technically like he's worth it. We're just like technically he
He
doesn't
shouldn't have a birthday. So he doesn't have
I
a birthday.
promise you, he has our birthday. He probably gets a bunch of stuff.
I hope he probably does. That dude's spoiled as hell.
Oh, there we go.
Grown ass man.
You
Price
said he has no
drop.
This
gato
dude's
for
a
no
grown ass
reason.
man. He's like, Mom, why is my laundry not done?
Get out my room.
I feel I don't know.
What
We're getting strayed.
We are, bro.
It's
We
not-
are.
it's not.
We're getting
Because
extremely
we keep
straight.
bringing
I said
Michael.
someone was gonna say Michael out of nowhere.
Well, we're talking about leap years and how did it go from leap years to Michael?
Because it's his
Michael's
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean,
but like,
how
we're-
many people do you know personally that have a birthday on a leap year? That's extremely
Only
rare.
Michael, yeah.
So if we have one, you got to mention it.
Yeah, Michael.
You gotta mention it.
and then not
They're not
drag
even
him to
considered
it.
Not
Like,
bring
we're
up
mentioning it,
roast.
and it's just- yeah.
Name dropping, bro.
We've talked about Valentine's Day for a while, but do you want to continue what we were talking about last time? Because we did the one dating advice / love. Whatever.
I think I don't know if we did this last time.
I
We
remember
kind
we-
of jumped
we-
around,
well,
but I
yeah,
was,
we
Dating
jumped
advice.
around
What
a
kind of dating
lot.
advice are y'all gonna give?
And then you took some of us.
we should
so
tell like a
You're
like
welcome.
a
This dude's now in a relationship
What-
because
what did I-
because
what advice
because
did I take?
Jaden watched our podcast and now he's in a
I
relationship.
didn't take the advice. No, I didn't take the advice.
He's capped.
Bro, I think you're
I believe
finding
Jaden.
too much correlation in that.
No,
I believe Jaden that he didn't take the advice.
I don't even know what good advice we
Because
gave
if I
him.
did,
because-
it probably would have been up in flames by now.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, do you want to continue? Because I know we had more stuff to say, but that episode was getting long and we had stuff to do.
we talked about.
Well, I
Michael.
thought the main
Oh,
thing
he
that
was
we were
in.
talking about was like dating, modern day
Yeah.
dating. I thought that was the main.
Yeah, but
thing.
Nick
Brought
said he
him
had
again.
more stuff he wanted to say after it was
Oh, okay.
done.
I think we should.
More
and
name
if
dropping?
anyone has anything to offer, we should like talk at least one story or some experiences from like our past love, like relationships or life, and then
Okay.
just trying to give advice from that, from what we've learned.
Oh,
and try
I'm
to
excited
reach-
to hear Jaden and Cody.
Yeah.
You're
What?
Elijah and Cody.
Yeah.
All
Right.
right, so
I
who
mean,
wants
if you
kick
want
it
to
off?
share,
Who wants
if
to kick
not,
it
we
off?
can.
Let's kick Cody off.
I could tell you some vulgar stuff that I've learned.
Oh no, it's fine.
Make bars. Drop
Yeah.
bars.
Drop bars.
Drop
yeah.
You wanna-
bars.
we can put a beat up and
Pause.
you
I'm
can,
playing.
you can drop
Let's hear
your,
that sample.
Turn it up.
you can
That's
have
the
your-
max.
That mixtape that's been in the making for like years.
For those of you who are listening,
It was in the
Cody
making for like 15 minutes.
had a bad experience with a chick, and to get his
Did y'all talk about that last time?
I don't think we
We
talked
did.
about this.
I think we did.
We brought.
I don't know. I'll say it again. Cody he wrote
We did,
bars
yeah.
like dissing this girl that played him off or whatever.
Ghosted.
Yeah.
Stood him up.
So now Cody's got the
But
bars.
she-
He got out his frustration.
This one has to get like a certain number of likes.
Oh, so if you get a certain number of
and
likes, you'll do it.
I'll leak. No, I'm
You'll
not gonna
leak it.
perform.
You'll
it.
just do a leak.
I'll leak.
Bro,
I'll
you
leak.
can't leak it yourself. That's putting it out. Give it to me and I'll leak it.
It's like
I'll
who
leak-
uploaded it? It's like Cody.
It's like, bro, this guy leaked his own shit.
I'll leak segments of bars, like portions.
Oh.
Like they'll
So
be like,
like
oh
on-
my god.
So like on yours, you'll upload the first 30, and then like Nick will have the next 30
Oh my god.
on the podcast.
If we
It'll be
hit
up-
those
Piece
marks.
it together.
Okay.
Dude, we actually almost have like 100 plays on that ink grab I just saw.
And what did I say for 1,000 we were gonna do?
You probably shouldn't remind
Probably
them.
some dumb thing.
Even though they can
It was
just go
something
back.
I was like, Nick, if you do it, bro.
Dab on the camera.
Hey, Cody, tell us your
Your
whatever.
advice.
My
Okay.
advice?
Give us a
Nick
story
said to
and,
tell a
like-
story and like what you learned from
And
it.
maybe what you learned from it, or just tell a funny story.
Come on,
and then-
Cody. This obviously is not a family friendly cast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that went out the window with episode.
I want to know who the
4.
audience is.
With episode one.
Yeah, no, well, like it's like
there's
like,
more than
yeah,
just
I
us.
just-
it's like sharing our personal lives on this. And it's just like,
Well, it's because we have funny stories.
That's true.
Eh.
Okay, all right.
We're a funny
This is
group.
interesting.
I don't think they're that funny.
We'll see.
Well, to other people, because it's like, oh,
If they're not, we'll just pretend.
if they knew us, they might. I don't even know where he's at.
I'll just do the Kawhi Leonard laugh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Stop, bro.
I
Cody.
What?
Alright, Cody.
What?
Cody has the mic.
I don't want to go over my stories.
Cody, come on, bro.
He's hitting the
Yo,
camera.
hold up.
Oh, he's gonna knock this camera
The
over.
podcast dog is messing up the camera.
We get timeout.
Should we name drop him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sam, get out of the way.
Bro, get this dog out here, bro.
That does it. You call him. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, that was close.
There, bro.
All right, so Cody, you're not gonna tell your story.
If you're not going to say
that.
nothing, we'll just go straight to Elijah.
That sounds good with me.
Elijah.
I don't have anything. Either.
Elijah.
dog.
Dude,
Bro,
I
don't
actually
tell me
don't.
all of us
Shut
met
up,
here and we
bro.
have nothing to give.
Tell him about that time you got flowers to ask that girl to homecoming or
Oh
prom.
yeah.
And
What you learned from that? What you
I
learned?
didn't learn anything from it
You
really.
know what I'm
Because
saying?
I
You
never
said
shot
that
my
for-
shot, so I just say that.
Actually, no, you did learn something.
Not
Should've
really.
Yeah, what do
shot
you
it
learn
sooner.
from
Should have shot your
guess.
shot sooner.
I guess.
Soon?
He should have shot it sooner.
I mean, I really
You
did.
still said it wrong.
I mean, my thing is like, I really wasn't all that invested. Like, I did purchase flowers, but that's it. Like, I can keep the flowers for myself,
Pretty deep.
or just throw them away.
The
I mean,
spiritual
either way.
yummy.
Did you just say that into the mic?
He's
did
laying
Nick
on
say?
my.
I think he was like, oh, bitch.
Because he laid on my foot, dude. I was like,
Stop, bro. Okay, Elijah, you really ain't gonna say nothing?
Dude, I don't have anything to offer in terms of
You picked
relationship
some-
advice or
you
anything.
picked
I mean,
some bad
no,
It's not
it's
really
just like a
advice.
funny. It's not advice. It's more so like a story.
Funny
we
stories. None of my stories are funny.
Dude, I can
They're
tell.
just
I can tell
sad.
stories about Elijah.
Listen to
They're
Marvin's.
not like bad. It's from like elementary school.
What?
Bro, can you
Alright.
tell that freaking what was her name? Adelaide.
Oh
The-
no.
That story went on.
That's a
Dude,
whole
tell that
story.
whole story.
See,
'Cause
you
that's
talking about exposing us.
We're already. Why are we
'Cause that's
dropping?
funny.
Name
I
drop.
thought we weren't dropping names.
Expose Nick.
Yeah.
Expose Nick.
Well, what does it matter, bro? That's middle school. You said that doesn't even count.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
You
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 gotta
told this
watch
story
your
when
mouth,
we were
man.
wing
Well,
daddies.
I was gonna talk about Elijah.
Hey, drop.
There's nothing to talk
drop the
about,
other.
bro.
Oh, should I drop?
Whatever was her
who-
name. I genuinely forgot it. I can't drop it.
You can say it. I think we actually already have,
dude,
bro.
it's
No,
not,
okay,
it's
let me
not.
talk about
Keep it
Elijah.
Whatever.
So I
Nick's all
gotta.
getting-
If
he's
you're
all-
watching,
he's like,
Back in elementary school, I may or may not have said this on the last one. If I tell me if I
no, we didn't. We talked about it at Wing Daddies, and then like you never told this like on the.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an elementary school story that like Elijah did.
Oh,
So back in elementary school, I went to elementary school with Elijah and our other good friend Diego, and
Yeah.
I don't. This is my first experience with like lover or whatever.
Goals.
Yeah, girls. So
girls.
so pretty much at the time, I think I was in first grade or second grade. Elijah's a grade ahead of me. This is before I failed the class. Dude, hang on. The dog is tweaking.
Oh wow. Yeah, he's really.
I don't think it picked that up.
He's just
Hopefully,
playing.
hopefully.
This
Anyway,
podcast.
we had a.
I can see it didn't pick it up.
It's
Cool.
like flatline.
We had we were all on the same bus because Elijah. We all lived in the same neighborhood. So at one time, I think it was mostly me and Diego. I don't think Elijah did it, but we got a yearbook. We opened it up and we just like looked and we were like, oh, we gotta find girls to be our girlfriends. And this is me and Diego's idea. Yeah. So this is our idea. So we looked through it and I found some girl that I was like, oh, she looks cute. And then Diego did the same. Elijah didn't want to do it. He was just like sitting. So somehow the coincidence or whatever it is, it's so high. But the girl Diego picked happened to live in our neighborhood, and she was bad.
Elementary, bro.
Well, okay, not.
Is it elementary?
Yo,
How old she got
Pause.
older?
You 21
Pause.
now, dog?
When she was
I don't
older.
even remember I don't know what she
Do
looks
you
like.
remember? Because you followed her on Instagram at one point.
You think
And
about-
even Diego followed her on Instagram too.
I
Cody
forget.
said no.
What was her name?
I'm not going to name drop, but it's starting
Okay.
to see.
He said she
You know
kind of
what I'm
bad.
talking about?
I know who it was.
Yeah.
Like, I always remember her, but
Jeez,
like
bro.
I don't remember seeing. The last time I saw her was like elementary school. I don't remember
Really?
seeing her.
Wait, she
again.
lived in y'all's neighborhood?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
lived right down the street. Like we could walk there, and that's exactly what we did.
So what'd y'all do about it?
So
You pulled it up.
Diego picked a girl, lived in our neighborhood. I picked a girl, and she actually lived the neighborhood right next to ours, which are connected through a ditch, which we would go your neighborhood, Jid, and we would go up there. And I forget her name.
Bro, you can name drop. That was an elementary. Like they're gonna be listening to this. Like that's
Yeah,
fucker.
they're not gonna be listening. Anyway, the girl I picked is like
Doesn't name
they're
drop.
both close to us, right? So
Uh-huh.
Diego and I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna be done. We're gonna write like love letters to them, and then they're gonna be like, ooh,
Like the
damn.
Notebook.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, oh
This is
damn,
before that
let's
came
get
out.
with these guys. But here's the
Probably.
thing: I
original
think
Notebook.
the girl I picked was in 5th grade while I was in 1st grade,
Dang.
and I think
Out of your league.
I,
Out of your grade.
That's like an 8th grader and like a senior in high school.
hey bro.
It is, yeah, that's exactly that. Damn.
So anyway,
It's like I'm right here, Stin. Oh,
Have you seen that video on Twitter where that guy was like, "You're dating like she's 13, bro."
Yeah.
It's like, isn't your sister 13? It's like it doesn't matter.
oh my god.
He's like, it's my sister's
Link in
friend.
bio, bro. That video, bro.
Roll the clip.
No, it's
Roll it.
Anyway, we both were like, let's write these letters. So I just moved the mic closer to you, Cody.
Thank
you. So anyway, we're like, let's write these letters. We both write them, and I remember I did not originally want to put my name on it. I said, let's keep it anonymous. And Diego was like, no, bro, how are they gonna date us if they don't know us? So I was like, okay. So
That's Diego's
I said,
voice?
yeah.
Oh, man.
I was like, okay, we'll put our first name. I was cool to put my first name because there's so many Joshes.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll do it. Diego was like, oh, like, okay, I'll do it. But then I think Diego was like, oh, I'll add my last name. And then I was like, bro, and he was making me look like weak.
Let me just add my social
Hold up, I don't
security
think
number.
Cody's in the shot. I
Nah,
can see
man.
it now. Has Cody not been in the shot the whole time?
moved the camera up, didn't he? Or no?
Yeah, we're having some camera difficulties. If you're listening, then it's no issue. But
That means they missed.
for
they
the
missed
video,
the,
that means the
what-
whole time Cody has not been in the shot.
I would agree with that analogy.
That
Okay.
means that they missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway,
That means that they missed the look.
yeah, they missed the look. We're not be able to put it up then.
Scoot your chair over, Nick. What? You got all that room? That's like about a foot.
Okay.
Okay.
So we wrote our names, and since Diego wanted to put his last name, I was like, okay, I'll put my last name too. My last name is pretty obvious. There's no one. I've never met someone else with my last name. I have not.
What is it?
What about Jake?
It's Fowler.
Oh,
Dude, who cares?
Last name drop.
So no one.
if this ever blows
I-
up, you're gonna have like
It's fine.
weirdos in your life.
Stop. So no one. So I don't know anyone else with my last name, and plus, but Diego's.
Yeah, it's a bit more common here.
Alvarez?
Yeah,
Oh,
Alvarez
God,
and
man.
Diego.
Diego Alvarez is more common, but
Now they can find
only at our
ties
school,
if they Google it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so what we did
This is his
is
friend.
we both were like, okay, let's go to their houses and we'll ring the doorbell, we'll put it there, and we'll leave. So, we went to the girl that lives in our neighborhood, which is Diego's one. We go there, we walk up, and here's the thing. So she lived at the very end of a block, the last house on the block, and what that means is if you're walking in front of the house, like toward the other end of the block, there's like a ton of houses you can hide behind if you're gonna ding dong ditch it. If you go the other way, there's just like a whole empty street with nothing blocking you. It's just a long road before you get to the other block and then turn. And we're in first grade, so our legs are like 2 feet or something, or like less. So we ring the doorbell, and instead of running the other way where we can hide behind cars or houses or any of the other houses, we run the opposite way towards our block, but there was nothing to cover us. So the girl's dad answered the door, and I guess he just heard like scuffling, and he just like turned to the other side of his house and saw 2 kids trying to run down like this long ass road, and he called us back. He's like, hey, he's like, what the hell? And he's like, come here. And we did stop and we did go back, and he looked at the note and he read it, and it was for his daughter, and he's like, oh, who wrote this? And I was just like pointing at Diego. Oh, that's Diego. And he actually brought his daughter out or something.
Like, damn, bro, props.
Yeah. And she actually read it, and I think she's like, oh, like, that's nice, or like, whatever. So Diego had a good ending to it.
Her dad's like, wait, was she the same age or no?
No, I think Diego, she
was
was
a
a
big-
couple grades ahead, too.
It's a big
right?
age gap
Yeah.
too. Her dad was
Yeah.
probably like, she probably just knew like, oh, like
Little kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably what would happen to me,
What's
too.
so funny is this story is more of like a lapse of judgment than anything. Like, it's not even like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's our first experience with, like, females.
I guess.
And Elijah screwed it over for me. So,
All right.
this is what happened to me. Diego had a good ending. Now, this is what happened to me. I go up to the chick's house. I rang the doorbell. It was windy, so I put it like slightly underneath the pot. And I kept going back, and it was still there. And I was like, bro, are they not home? So finally, I saw that it was gone. I was like, okay, they got it then. They took the note in. So that was it. I went back to school. Everything was cool. Like the next week, we're waiting in the bus line. And back then, my name was written on my backpack in like huge Sharpie letters, like Joshua Fowler. Like my mom.
In case you
wrote
get
it on
lost.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, there he is.
So, and the girl,
Got
since
his
she
address
lives
on
right
the
next
back.
to us, she's on our bus. They're both on our bus because they both live in the same area as us. So we get on the bus, and I remember she poked me from behind, and I turned around. I was like, "Huh?" And she was like, "Are you?" She's like, "Are you Joshua Fowler?" She's like, "Are you the one that left a note?" And I was like, "No." And I turned back around, and then she's like, "I could see it on your bag," and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Like, I'm borrowing it.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So that would have been the end of it. But of course, Elijah,
Wait, what did she say? I have to say about it though.
she just said like, "Oh, like, did you write it?" And I was just like, "Oh, like, it wasn't." I don't. If any, she said anything, I don't remember it. But the big thing I do remember is when we got on the bus, Elijah and Diego would. I don't know how it started, but we would be on the bus together, and then they would get like a little piece of paper and rip it, and they'd write like a little note to her and act like it was from me or something, and they'd write like some weird stuff.
Bro.
Do you remember?
This isn't PG.
Oh, I remember.
This isn't PG.
This is.
You wanted me to go into
No.
my stories.
No, dude, they wrote some bad stuff, dude. We're in first grade. This chick was probably like, bro, what the hell is this kid? Because
What the hell is this kid?
she-
Not even
no,
who.
dude. No, it became like a daily thing. Like I remember sitting there, and she'd be walking off, and she would just turn to Diego and Marshall,
Hold on. Some
ready
of the-
for the note.
Some of the things that they wrote, was it like things that like high school kids were like immature high school kids were like
Yeah.
read?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Elijah and
young,
Diego's
Like when
minds
you
were
learn to
tainted.
cuss, bro.
Like,
Okay, you have to understand that Diego had an older brother as well, and he was like,
that's got to be the reason why.
and I was more like originally I was friends with his older brother, then I became friends with Diego,
Yeah.
and that's how that whole thing started. So I was like, and plus like I was a bit closer to him in grade than I was to them too. So,
That's true.
That's mad jokes, man.
So they would write stuff that was obviously not very nice, and she would assume they were from me, and if they weren't from me, then it would be like a note saying like, "Ooh, like just so you know, Josh said that," and then it would be something like that. And only one that I remember, or only one that they told me what they said. All the other ones they would never tell me, or they would talk about it and laugh about it. They spoke Spanish together, and I didn't understand it, so they'd be laughing at me in Spanish. I'd be like, "Bro, what the hell?" So the one that they told me is they said like, "Oh, like they were like, oh, Josh said that he's trying to like take you to Six Flags, and so he can see you in a bikini and then go underneath the water and like," and they throw like stuff like that, and like he's like oh, he's trying to feel up on you and like stuff like that, and I was like, yo, and I remember that's the one they told me what it said, and then I looked out the window to see her walk into her house, and she had the note open, and her whole family is there reading it. Her family, her mom, her dad, her like older brother, and they're like looking at it. They all look down, then they all look up in disgust, looking at the bus.
I mean, well, like, because it's not like, I mean, I don't know how vulgar they made it, like how much details they went into, but like just hearing it, like it's not like that. It's weird, but it's not like that bad.
They probably wrote like boobies. They didn't write like anything.
But especially for you as like
Spelled
a
with a
first
Z.
grader, that's probably why they give you that look, because they're like, bro, this is a first grader, and he's like, they're like, what does he just like watch?
It was
at
so
home? Like,
embarrassing, dude.
how does he know all this?
From that, I was so. I think that's what caused me to be so shy from a young age. After that, I didn't talk to nobody, man. I kept to myself. I only talked to people I knew.
So third grade.
Yeah.
That's like 2 years later.
Okay, maybe
You asked
more
us.
like.
It's like that really shut me down for like a year. I had to rebuild.
Okay.
Quite a while.
So you asked us to give a story and then provide what we learned. What did you learn from that?
Oh, I learned you can't.
Don't have friends like Diego.
You don't have friends like Elijah either.
Yeah, why was he here?
Yeah, you can't have friends that'll like do
You
that.
get the
and then
chair of shame
and
on the next one.
and on top of that,
The roast.
you can't have your friends make the moves for you. You got to make the moves yourself.
True.
I've learned that.
Yeah. Do you want to explain your story?
Do you want me to explain
Yeah,
this?
you can go. For it.
Yes, that's what the
Okay,
whole
okay.
episode's about.
So there was one story.
This
It's
isn't dating advice. No.
huh?
The advice comes at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
well, the
no,
advice is just to
Don't
not
have
not always listen
Don't
to
tell,
your friends.
Don't tell the advice first. Say
What?
the story.
What's the story? Come on.
Oh yeah. Well, so I was texting this girl. We had been hanging out like on and off. We would just hang out and go to the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
We were just like friends, but like honestly, like I wanted it to be like more than that. And then I remember one day. This actually, I don't think it was too.
You actually had a good chance with her.
This was like maybe a year ago or something. Like it wasn't too long ago, actually.
maybe a couple months ago.
No, because
It was because it was in the middle.
this is
of
when
last
Michael
year.
was moving, and he's
So
been
yeah,
up there
in the
for
middle-
about a
Dude,
year.
this is like a year ago.
Summer or like was it like
I don't
around
know.
this
I
time?
think it was
year?
last summer that Cody told me about it.
Something I don't know. It was, but it's kind of recent
So
too.
I think it was summer 2018. No, 2019.
So yeah, it's relatively
The spring of
couple
last
months
year,
ago.
pretty much.
Anyways, like it's pretty
Yeah,
recent.
It don't matter.
Pretty recent. And so everything was like chill between us, but I was trying to like figure out how to like escalate it, right? Like take it to the next level. What?
Sorry,
It's a
we're
freaking
thinking
TikTok.
of this thing that's totally off track. But go
Never
on.
mind. Keep
Sorry.
going, dude.
And then you were trying to whisper with like these high quality mics in front of. We're gonna watch it back.
Hey, Nick.
Oh, that's what they were saying.
Can they hear us?
But so we were good. Like we would always hang out and stuff. But I was trying to like escalate it, right? And then I asked Josh for help. We were helping one of our.
That's where you went wrong. Never asked Josh.
weird.
That's advice. Never
I
ask
have
Josh for
100%
He didn't take his own advice.
success rate. 100%
bro.
success rate. I have the best advice.
Keep in mind he was like 1 for 1.
Yeah. All right.
It's like you take. Okay, never mind.
if you get right the
It's
first
hard to
try,
argue it
there
'cause
you
it's
go.
You take
Stupid.
1 3-pointer, you make it. Yes, you're gonna have like 100%. You
There
know.
you go.
Never play basketball again.
Retire with a 100% field goal percentage. You would do that.
Yeah, I would say.
No, this is what it is. It's like me riding the bench the whole year, and then we're in the championship game, and then everyone else is getting injured. So I got to take the last minute shot, and I make it, and then I retire after getting the winning shot in the championship and going out for ring. That's more like what it is.
But does that mean then, if you
But
were
would
to
you
become
still try to
single,
flex it and be like, oh,
Yeah,
like,
I'd be like,
I'm
I'm a
100,
champion.
I'm
But,
100% 3-point shooter.
if you were
That's
to be,
like the only
if you were
way
to be
take it.
single and like you and some other guy who's dated a lot longer, if you competed for the same girl, who do you think would win? Just because you have 100%, or the guy that's had more experience?
So in the other analogy, it's like somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna challenge
it's like
you.
Kobe versus this other
Like
loser.
like Curry pulls up in his prime and he's just like, oh, like let me challenge you, bro. Like you're a Hall of Famer or whatever for your 3-pointer. percentage.
For your shot.
Your one
shot.
Or they're like,
For your
you're,
amazing play.
they're like, you're such a legend. Come to the All-Star games and stuff. We want you in the 3-point competition with
I
Curry.
would do it.
This is besides the
You
point.
would do it, but it would
Way
taint
off
your
track.
record.
Way off track.
Okay, Cody, tell your story. bro.
Anyways, Jesus Christ.
It's
You're gonna be
stupid,
hearing that a lot,
Um,
anyways.
a lot.
Yeah, but so it was actually Michael. He was on here like was that the last episode or whatever.
Yeah, people that listen regularly are going to start knowing the names, the
Yeah.
characters.
So Michael,
Characters.
the characters. These aren't their real name. No, I'm just kidding.
Aliases.
The cosmic verse.
But Michael, the one that was on here, we were helping him move, so we were at his house and then we were talking. She actually hit me up and she was like, "Oh, you want to go see a movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." It was all good, and then I let Josh and Michael.
Oh, you're telling this story. Okay.
Oh, what story did you think of?
I thought you were talking about the one where Michael fucked you over.
Oh no.
Okay.
Now they want to hear it, bro.
That's like that's a whole nother.
Couple more views and we'll get that.
That's a big next Valentine. No, I'm just kidding.
You remember?
But yeah, no, I was telling this story,
Okay,
but
yeah, you can
so
tell.
I asked, or like I don't know, I asked him for advice, and then him and Michael like peer pressure me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, whatever," and I'm like, "Here's my phone, like you can just do it," and then I'm like moving Michael's furniture and stuff, and Josh is just like, I'm like, "Yeah, man, just like don't worry about it, just text her, whatever, figure it out."
Spitting game.
I was like, "Help me out," right? Like help me out, and then he just it was the opposite.
He got a date.
I come back and then he's like,
she was down for a movie.
so we had already discussed the time, like me and her, before I let Josh in on it. We already planned it out to an extent. So I was like, man, I don't have very much time. Josh texted her, try to make some like moves like for me. And then
I did.
and I was like, and I'm gonna have to rush out of here and pick her up so we make the movie that we wanted to see and all that. And then I was like upstairs or something, and I was like, okay, I need to go. I come running downstairs, and then Josh is like, he's like, dude, she's acting like a bitch or something. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he shows me the conversation. Well, that makes the story way longer if I go into the conversation.
Just give
But
us like a brief summary.
Was she acting like a
so
bitch?
he made a
Joke?
he tried to make like a joke or something.
It was like a joke / pickup line.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like playful. So he had said, because we were just friends and she knew that. So he had said like, like wear something cute or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, something along the lines of that. And then at first she was like, shut up, I hate you, but like sarcastically or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. And then I keep reading it. Well, he had mentioned that like 2 more times throughout the conversation. Like he had just thrown it in there. And the second time she was kind of just like, oh, okay, like.
She said okay.
She was like, yeah, I think she literally just said
She
okay.
said okay.
But she's kind of like, I don't know, like. If
All
you
she
read,
said was okay.
if you read the conversation, I feel like you could like gauge it and tell that she was getting like it was getting stale to her or whatever. She was like, okay, like
no.
I get the joke. And then the third time he sent it, she got like pretty upset, and she was like, I don't remember it exactly.
This chick went from just saying like okay. The next time you said it, like when the plans were finalized, it's like okay, cool. I'll see you wearing something cute. And then she was like, you cannot fucking talk to me like that. If
Shouldn't
she's
say
like,
that.
I am not a piece of meat, Cody. Like, and she just went off, and she was just like, no. She's like, fuck you. I don't want to
Okay.
see you. And she was like, we are not doing
Dude,
shit
you
tonight.
sound like
I'm
that one
hanging.
guy off of TikTok is like, I'm trying to teach a lesson.
Like,
And right now,
I am sorry.
sounds like
I'm sorry that your classmate.
Nicholas.
That's what she flipped out, and it was like from 0 to 100.
Keep in mind, this
Awesome.
is over text, so you can like misinterpret text, and you can add in your own voices that make it sound like worse than it probably
Dude,
was.
she got mad though.
But the next day, like I saw her or whatever, and then she was like, "Oh
Did
yeah."
you say,
like,
oh, my
it's
friend
cool,
texted you
whatever.
that, or did you say that?
I don't think I told her that right away. I wanted to just see. I was like, she'll probably just drop it, but I don't think she did. I was like, she'll probably just drop it, but I don't think she did. And then I was like, oh, like I was like, I thought I told you, like that wasn't even me. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah,
That's
it
kind of a
wasn't
lame
even me.
excuse though. You think she believes
It's
you?
like a middle school excuse.
Like
No,
because
'cause
like
I
when
think-
you say it, even if it is true,
It was at work.
It's just kind of like
I think Michael was there, and so he was like,
did Michael
no.
vouch?
Yeah, I think he like attested it. But either way, like,
Who believes Michael?
So what did you learn from that story? Ever let your friends take the shots for you?
Hey, it's the same thing I said.
yeah, something
It's the
along the
same
lines.
Didn't you
of
learn
that.
that lesson earlier than him?
Yeah.
So
Nah,
you just let it happen?
Your lesson was
Well,
don't
he
have friends like
didn't.
Elijah and Diego.
But I also said you can't have someone shoot the shots for you. You got to do it yourself.
Bro, you just went against your own principle that you learned prior
No,
to
I didn't
this
do it.
happening.
I did it for him. So I didn't go against it because when I shoot my own shots, the people that I'm trying to get with, I do it myself.
But when you're helping your
Once.
friend out,
Just kidding.
He asked me for help.
okay,
For
never mind.
help.
Yeah, that's right.
It's,
Sit back down.
no, bro, it still doesn't make sense. 'cause
No,
Yeah,
it
he
does.
no, help, like an assist. You don't
He
take
asked
the
me.
shot, dog.
He asked me to help. I'm not shooting a shot.
you're
at
not shooting the
girl.
shot for him, but you're helping.
Yeah.
Okay.
He like,
You messed up an assist, man.
yeah. It's like you
Fumbled
pass
it,
your
bro.
teammate. Like,
I mean, no, it was
It's like
working
whenever you
fine.
pass to Cody, like
If
right
I
under
wouldn't
the
have said it
basket.
the third time.
Yeah, it's just like
And it just
he
totally
screws-
misses.
Yeah, he just misses anyway, so it doesn't.
No,
really
it's like when
matter.
you try to do a fancy pass and it's just like, bro, what the?
Oh, well, yeah.
Goes total opposite.
No, because I said it the second time and she said okay, and then so she was cool with it. Once I said it the third time, she went from being like, okay, yeah, come pick me up, to just like, I don't want to ever see you again.
like,
It was
okay.
I think the equivalent analogy wise is like you get locked up on the courts. I passed it to Josh. I'm like, bro, score this for me, and then he shot it in like the complete wrong basket.
I like how we were talking about like all this dating advice. Like it always comes back to a basketball analogy.
Yeah,
It's the
a lot
best
of people-
analogy.
I think that's pretty cool.
We all play basketball.
But yeah,
That's
and then
fine.
he went and shot it like on the opposing.
Isn't
team's
that like a
basket.
meme? It's like when she's single, it's like, hey, and it's like the basketball like in her
Shot,
DMs. Basketball's the
Alright.
perfect sport to make an analogy. of.
You want to jot, Nick? You wanna...
I don't know if I have
Is
a
it Nick's
story.
story? You got some stories.
I saw him giving a story.
What do you want to hear? Like,
Huh.
You just come up with
What
like, a
you don't
random
wanna
come
story.
up with one.
Yeah, no one. You know what I mean? Like, just think of one like off
Start
the top
capping,
of the dome.
bro. I'm just kidding.
I mean, there was a time when, like, my past girlfriend, when we first started dating in high school, like, like she liked me way earlier than I thought she did. So
So
sometimes,
you didn't shoot your shot soon enough.
no, I mean, we ended up dating, but we could have been dating a lot earlier.
You just didn't pick.
That's
up.
it. I could
I
say
mean-
the same thing, bro. Come on. Nick, we need juicy stuff. Did you hear Cody's story? Did you hear mine?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have any like.
Juicy, bro. Yours took place in elementary school.
It was funny, but it was funny, dude.
Alright, it was- it was funny, it was
It's
funny.
dripping, bro.
You're juicing. You're milking the story.
Oh, he
bro.
would drink his juice. No.
Nick, you got anything else you want to like?
What?
Or does Jaden have a story? That was. I've said that story for Elijah.
There was okay. I actually got. There was a time, my first girlfriend, I made her cry on Valentine's Day.
What'd you do?
What? I've never
That's why
heard
he
this.
hates the holidays.
What'd you do? What'd you do?
It wasn't even that bad, bro.
Obviously, it was that bad if you made.
No.
cry.
Let me give
First of
context.
all, what grade were y'all in?
Was it the first?
You were a
one
freshman?
Yeah, my
before
first
your
girlfriend.
last
I was like a
ex?
freshman or sophomore
Oh god.
in high
Okay,
school.
that's-
I was a late bloomer. All right, I went to a private middle school, so you know.
So that's an excuse to make people.
Yeah,
cry.
bro. No, it's an excuse for me not to date. Cause
I mean, I did the
All
same.
right, we'll get
Teachers
to the
just
story
try to
because I
split
want to.
us
I've
up.
never heard this story before.
all right, so I'm gonna do this for the clip on Instagram. This is the time when I made one of my first
Oh.
girlfriend cry on Valentine's Day.
Are we name dropping?
Sure.
We'll tag her.
Oh god.
Dude.
Yeah.
You got her social security number down.
That's one more view
How'd
if
you
you
make
tag.
it?
He's like, what the
That's
fuck?
true. How'd you make her
So to
cry?
give some context, I think it was like the first couple of weeks we were dating, or I don't even know when. It was definitely before Valentine's Day because like we were first getting together, and like
Again, the mic's like, we're gonna play it back and it's gonna be right here.
Come on, bro.
It's like
Bruh.
Nick. And
Can
then,
you just give a brief summary, Nick? Because I feel like it's gonna be really.
no, it's not gonna be long. It's very short.
Okay.
He's gonna make it within 3 minutes.
Can you just cut out the
Within
step?
30
on
seconds.
Instagram.
Well, oh wait, your 3 minutes are like taking.
All right,
Can
somebody
you go?
start a
Come
timer.
Cause y'all keep freaking like.
Can you just try to cut out the
Yeah, all right, Nick, go ahead. Start your story now.
just try to cut out the filler
All right,
words.
so this is the time that I made my first girlfriend cry on Valentine's Day. This is my first girlfriend. We'll just call her A for the sake of the
The
story.
app is down below.
Sure. So I was a sophomore in high school, and it was like the first couple of weeks we were dating. And I was like, at that point, I was like, oh, dude, like I have a girlfriend. Like I'm kind of nervous. I don't like want to mess it up. And so like we decided to spend Valentine's Day at her house to watch The Walking Dead because that was like something that like we just like doing. It was a big show at the time. I'm not really into it anymore. But I get to her house and like we kind of just like make popcorn and all that, and like we go in her living room and we sit down and like to watch it. And like I hadn't met her dad, but like to me he was like kind of a really intimidating person just from like no, it's weird, like I knew who he was but I hadn't met him. And so I was watching The Walking Dead and stuff, and like apparently he was home. And so like I was just watching the show and I was kind of like being myself, like oh shit, like I was kind of being like loud and stuff.
So you were cussing in his house.
Yeah, and I didn't even know he was home, and like I see him like come out of his room, and I was like
How bad was the cussing? Were you like, God, fuck, damn, bro? Like, what were you doing?
It's just being me, bro. Me sophomore year.
That's probably
Okay,
bad.
sophomore Nick was vulgar. Yeah, so
That's when I met you.
yeah.
That's why I met y'all, bro.
Yeah.
But
Sophomore Nick was
he
wild.
comes out of his room, and then I'm just like, I like froze up pretty much. I got really quiet for the rest of the night.
He saw the video.
He's
And
like,
she was just like-
fucking
She was just like, I was like watching a freaking football game, kind of.
Okay.
But
So she cried because of that?
no. So then like I just got quiet the rest of the night, and like we were kind of like she was
She's like,
cuddling
"You're
with
not
me, and
even
like I
talking
just
to me."
didn't say anything. And then she thought she did something wrong, and at the end of the night, like I got picked up and I was leaving, and she was just like crying and stuff, and I was like, I'm sorry, dude, like your dad is like freaking out. I'm like,
What a
I don't even think I explained why. I just kind of left
You
it,
just said
and she
sorry.
still was crying until I explained it over text.
So she was crying because
She thought she did
so-
something wrong,
out
but
of nowhere, like she pissed
So-
you off, so you stopped talking.
so
yeah,
you were
but
so
I was just cussing in her house, and her dad was home, and I was like, oh,
you were
shit.
so intimidated by her dad that you didn't
Bro,
say a word.
he reminds me of
until
like
you got
Trevor from
home.
GTA, bro.
But you did not.
Dude's
You
like-
didn't. You didn't speak a word for the rest of the night.
Well, no, I was just more quiet.
Like
I
she's
was
just like, you want some popcorn or something, and you're just like,
like,
Wait, so what? Moral of the story: don't cuss.
honestly, bro, the moral of the story:
Be mature.
Don't be intimidated.
when you walk into their house if their dad's home, meet them and introduce
it's
yourself
their
properly.
house, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, be a
because their
gentleman.
dad
man.
actually ended up
Yeah,
being
be a
really cool. I
gentleman.
was just like, I was a little
moral of
bitch.
the story is, somebody looks at you funny for cussing. You say, I can do whatever I want. You can be
Get out of my face,
You be an
old
alpha,
man.
Nick. You
Fuck
don't
you
just
gonna do?
curl up.
You
You'd probably be like, okay, nah.
There's
Nick,
no
good
way.
job. That was under 3 minutes.
It was
Really?
actually. You had,
Ooh,
you had about
made
like
it.
20 seconds to spare.
Good job, Nick.
It's great for the Instagram clip.
Watch the rest of
Now
the
go
podcast.
watch the rest of the
link.
podcast.
Let's go,
Dude.
bro. All right, Elijah.
Watch the rest for the name drop.
Dude, I don't have any, bro. I already told you I don't have any juicy stories, bro.
You could have told the story I told.
But that doesn't really involve me though.
Yeah, it
Like,
does. You're the
okay,
one that
it
did the
does
whole
involve
thing.
me, but like it's not
It's
something
on.
that I
You
did.
have
Just
something to
sneak
learn
it
from.
during-
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't learn
No, you
anything
can
from it because
learn.
obviously I did it again.
Yeah.
I did it a second time, which is even
Oh,
worse.
yeah.
So,
How
I
many
mean,
Should I
girls
tell
or
that story?
girlfriends have you talked to or had?
0.
Vic.
She's not.
You talked to no girls?
Name drop.
Yeah.
Name drop.
Yeah,
Oh,
damn,
shit.
I don't
dog.
care. I mean,
Okay, bro. Okay, is
Then
she,
drop 'em
you really
all.
think the like devil girl is gonna be watching the Cosmic Kickback?
The most obscure podcast out there.
She's a cosmic.
Is this for astrology?
oh
my
god.
God.
She's gonna be like in her room, like freaking doing incense. Just be like, someone's talking about.
Oh
She
god. I would not be
sense it.
surprised. I would not be
She's just like, I'm a
surprised.
Gemini. I have to watch this. This is my type of thing.
Oh gosh, I would not be surprised.
I hate
Alright, well, I
that
guess
shit.
Elijah really doesn't have
Wait,
much.
do you have anything,
don't.
Jaden? Everyone's gone but you.
Dude, come on, you're the one that's in
feel
the
like,
new
bro,
relationship.
Jaden-
Talk
in
about
a
like one of your
relationship,
exes.
This is like
I
supposed to
think
be for
Jaden
you.
has the most exes.
He does.
The most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I only count one of them.
Does Adriana
You only
count,
count
bro?
one. You don't count the other one.
Name drop, name drop.
It's just like, I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
I mean, if it
I
was,
wouldn't count it.
I
It's
count high school.
Like,
I would count it, Jaden.
Dude, because that's
wasn't
not
it
the
like
point
a year?
when you're still getting like you're in your like
That was just like 4
later
years
teens.
ago.
No, but I'm saying wasn't the first. I mean, Nick already name dropped, but wasn't the first one like a year?
You did it for a year.
It was like all freshman year. I thought
Yeah.
it was most of it at least.
As soon as they broke up, Jaden was a
Probably.
bitch the whole summer. Remember?
Oh yeah,
That dude, they broke up
Who?
and that you were an asshole. For
I
the whole
remember. I
summer.
like
with T or?
punched the shit
No,
out
no,
of him.
no, with the other one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah,
I don't
I
actually
remember.
don't
I remember when you broke
You
up.
don't remember?
We'd be playing basketball with
Blacked
you,
out.
and you would just be an asshole. Like we would like be just playing for fun.
I
and-
would say something that my dad said or whatever, and you would just be like, "Bro, like fuck your dad. Your dad's fucking stupid." Or something. And I was like, "Bro, what?"
Yeah, you're like, wait, dude, hold up.
Well, you also have to You also have to take into account that was a time when I was on the pedestal. Y'all was always roasting me. I was in Michael's spot,
Bro,
and y'all would make.
bro,
Damn, you didn't console
I had the L
him.
day and everything.
You probably
bro.
broke up with her, and everyone was just like,
Exactly.
"Bro,
Dude, yeah, these
No,
dudes
no
They just
one
roasted
did that.
him.
No one did
Nobody
that.
no emotional
No,
support."
No one did that.
All right, all right. You want me to give a story?
We played pig.
Give the story,
Let me
bro.
tell this real quick.
We'll make
We
a
were
clip
playing
of all.
pig.
Of
He
them.
like
If you've ever
fought
played
me.
basketball, you know the game horse. It's you make a shot, they gotta make it. You get the letter first to spell it out. We were playing pig, a shortened version. It was Jaden and Cody playing.
I did this as a joke at first. I wasn't serious about this.
About what?
The whole pig thing. Yeah,
Pretty
that was
much
a
what
joke.
happened.
I was like, nah, it's double G.
Cody beat
It,
Jaden.
it was no,
and
I think it was
Jaden-
all three of us playing.
I don't remember. I might have been playing. That
It
makes
doesn't
more
matter.
sense
It
than me
doesn't
just
matter.
standing there.
It doesn't
But
matter.
anyway, Cody beat Jaden. Like he got Jaden out because Jaden had missed 3. He got the G.
I
And
love
he's
how
like,
he clarified. He was like, I was just kidding. Like, I know how to spell pig.
yeah. So pretty much he beats Jaden. Jaden's out.
Just to
We're like, Jaden, that's a G, bro. And he's just like ignoring us, like, Jaden, you're out. And he was like, dude, fuck off, bro. And it's just like, Jaden. And it's just like, dude, it's like, I'm not fucking out, bro. It's 2 G's. And he's dead ass. Like he's
I
like,
was not
mad.
dead ass about
Okay,
it.
but the way he said it.
But like his demeanor, like he wasn't changing his mind. He's like, I'm in the fucking game. Like he just
yeah,
wouldn't.
he was like, dude,
He
fuck,
wouldn't play
no,
the
I'm
game
not
how it was
out.
meant.
He was like, I'm not out, bro. Fucking stop. He was getting mad. I don't even know how, but Jaden
He
jumped
ended up on
Cody.
my back.
Jaden jumped on Cody's back, like started like to swing, and then they
Wait, what?
You guys,
he started
No,
freaking.
no.
they
He didn't-
started swinging on each
He
other
didn't-
because Jaden got mad.
He didn't swing on me, but he jumped on my back, and I remember he was kind of like he had his arm like I don't think
he
he was
trying to headlock.
I don't know if he was trying to choke me or what, but he had his arm around my neck, and I was just like I was already fed up with this shit because he's like,
he-
oh,
yeah, 'cause he's
he's
been
like,
acting.
fuck your
Jalen's
dad.
mom was screaming too.
He's like,
She's like,
yeah.
oh my god.
He's like, fuck your dad, your dad's stupid, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's just in a shitty mood, like he's being like a dick the whole, because it was the whole day.
It wasn't even the whole day, but it was the whole rest of that summer.
We hung out for no, but I'm
The
saying
day that you
that
broke
day-
up.
that day we were hanging out for a
Oh.
while, and he was just in a shit mood like the whole
Yeah.
day. So it was already like
Honestly, I don't even remember that being like that. Like,
He's like, bro, I don't think it is that.
I think
bad."
no. I think that no. I
Did I
think they're
even date?
linking.
I was like,
I think they're linking
fucking
that
wailing
breakup
on
to
me.
like something that was like. There's no correlation between that.
Well, that's
I don't
what we. I don't know if that was the reason, but we were like, bro, after they, as
it
soon as
just was
Jaden and her
around that
broke up,
time.
Yeah.
that's just how.
Honestly,
but-
I mean, even then, I don't even consider because it was like immature. It was like freshman year or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
only like fucking 14, 13 at the time.
Yeah.
Most recent one I would probably consider more serious. But yeah, I honestly, I mean, if the
Wait,
wise I had to
are we gonna
give-
skip the
Look,
fucking climax of the story?
funniest part is this
Well, I
part.
know, it's funny.
I think
you
it's,
already got to it.
it's
Right?
the
I was like,
no, but the funniest part of it is when I'm watching them fight, and I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like, how did this
Well,
happen
so-
off a pig?
So what had happened? Like I was saying, like his arm was like around my neck, and I don't think he was like necessarily trying to choke me or anything. But like I remember I was bent over like this. Oh, nice. I was like hunched over, and he was like over my back, and then he had his arm around my neck, and I remember I was just like, bro, like let me go, and I was like, Jaden, like get off of me, dude. I was like, get off me, like let me go, and he just wouldn't. And then I think somehow he ended up standing. Like I spun him off me or something, and he was standing there, but he was still holding my head, or he was like holding on to me or something. And I could tell I was getting like flustered and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, like I was like, get off me, just stop holding me. And
I
he
don't
like,
remember that. I remember Cody swinging too.
well, no, I
Cody
swung.
did swing at one point.
I think I was. I don't think
you
he
guys
swung.
both swung.
No,
At
I don't
least
think
once.
he swung.
I swear Jaden ran up and swung, or he did a kick or something.
I don't know.
But all I know is Cody
remember-
ended up like hitting Jaden in the back. Like he flipped Jaden. He's punching Jaden in his back.
Well, I
Jalen's
was
mom is screaming.
I was-
and our next
I
door,
was holding
my
his
next
head.
door neighbor.
I was holding his head, and I was like hitting his rib cage. I was just
Okay.
like,
this was freshman year, right?
Yeah.
and I was just pounding.
It was the
on
summer after.
Did anyone
freshman.
even walk away with like bruises, or was just like
No, they stopped and we
Shit.
kept playing. I mean, I
No,
went to a
no,
lot of
he
things.
walked home.
Jaden walked home.
No,
You walked home
that
like
day.
Yes, because it was awkward as fuck. Because I was holding.
No, we
you.
stayed there. I remember staying there because we were even
You're
chilling
just
in
like,
the
I was
driveway.
kidding, bro.
Because I remember you were like, because you were holding on to me, and I was like, let me go, and then I started holding your head, but you were still holding on to like my torso, and I was like, bro, like what are you doing? Like let me go, and I was like, let me. And I was like, bro, and at that point I was just so mad.
This is a very vague, like it's like a blur.
Like I literally, because I hit you in that. No, I'm just kidding.
he
can
knocked
still
me out. He
feel it.
knocked me out. That's why.
But I started like hitting you in the ribs. I was just hitting you in the ribs, and I kept punching, and I think it's because like your diaphragm or whatever, but it was like boom, boom, and it was like
It
echoing.
sounded loud.
It was like echoing.
And my next door neighbor was working out in her garage, and she comes like running out
Over the treadmill and stuff.
Yeah,
she
she-
just hears like
She hears like the thing, and she runs out and sees kids in the middle of the street hitting each other, and she was like, "Stop!"
You know,
She
what's funny?
told-
You know what's funny about that too is that there was a car trying to come into the neighborhood too.
I think he just-
watching us. Yeah.
Dude,
He
that's
just stopped or
chaotic,
whatever and
dude.
like went
All this
around.
chaos.
It's
He
just
just
a
stopped.
normal day for us, bro.
He just
Well,
stops and like goes around.
Actually, you go off of that. I'm not gonna like. I mean, the correlation between like that and like I guess I don't know, whatever relationship that
Your
was.
first.
There was no correlation, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was immature in high school. I was like a little shit.
So that was just
I
you.
was a
I think
little shit.
That's just how
everybody
you
was.
I
were.
was a little shit in high
No,
school.
because I remember before that you were like chill, like I could hang out with Jaden easily. And then for that whole summer, like I could not do
Oh, so
anything.
bad.
The dude would always start tweaking. So, but then
Tweaking.
Jaden fixed it, and he was good.
Madcap.
After summer was done, Jaden was back to normal.
After
Then he
his ribs healed.
Shit, I
He's
remember
like
I punched
icing
his
them,
lung.
like,
yeah.
He comes to school with the crutches. Look what you.
No, I don't think it was that bad.
We got a Jaden story time.
Well, honestly, I don't. Oh god.
Damn.
I don't even know if I want to like tell a story. You know.
You just said I have a story.
I do, but like, no, you didn't let me finish.
Don't
Is it from the
all
first?
You
audience.
didn't let me provide the second part of that. Was I do have stories, but I mean, I don't want to get too deep because it's like
From the
What?
first,
This is
or
what?
what are the stories
It's
from?
like what? I don't know what you mean.
The first,
Well,
second,
it's not
third,
like something
fourth.
like funny.
I'm just
It's like
kidding.
actually something I learned that it was like self-reflection.
I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say one more thing, like, or another thing we can get into is like for anyone that's gone through a breakup, what's like something you learned and like how it was for you
Ooh.
That's a good one. It is.
instead of the funny story.
all right.
Put on
all right.
Marvin's room, cue it up.
Just in the
I'm not gonna give any context because it's just like but I will say, to those who like get over a breakup and like they're taking it hard, it's I would say, honestly, like it happened for a reason, right? Look at yourself, reassess, and fix what it is you've done about yourself, and then like after that, like I mean, I would also say because like see a lot of people they get like really lonely after the whole breakup thing, and so like they're just stuck there, just like damn, I miss all that. And
I'm just kidding. Bro, I thought you were really laughing. I was like,
no. But they're just like they get stuck in that phase where it's just like, man, I really miss that. I wish I could have that again. I didn't really get into that phase. I mean, I was sad that it was like
You were
know,
fighting people, Jane.
the relationship. I'm not talking about that time period. I'm talking about like the most recent
you
one.
changed. Bro.
No, but like yeah, I would say like a lot of people after like once they're going through breakups, they just get so sad and like I guess lonely. They're just like, oh man, I wish I could have that again, and I miss it. But what I would say to those people who like think like that is like, honestly, there's a reason why you broke up, and it might have been you, it might have been her. But honestly, just take the time at that point in your life to just enjoy like being with yourself and just fixing yourself, improving yourself. Because I mean, if you get so lonely and so sad after a breakup to where you're now just gonna chase another relationship. All right. Well, now you didn't take the time to get feedback from
like
yourself.
because if you don't learn from like I feel like it's easy like if you like realize a problem and you like accept it, like even if it was you and you're like, oh, like yeah, I was being like a dick or whatever, but then you're like if you accept it, like if you're in
you learn from it. Yeah, that's what I'm.
but if you're like in denial or whatever, then like like if you're like, oh well, this was a problem, you're like, it was my fucking fault or whatever, then like
It's I mean yeah.
and if you
it's
rush
always a
into
two-way
like
thing.
you were saying, if you like rush into some other shit,
You're not fixing the problem,
and
it's gonna
especially if
carry
you don't
on.
even
Yeah.
realize the
Yeah.
problem, and you're like, oh fuck her or whatever, and you like with somebody else, you're just gonna do
It
like the same
follows you.
shit.
And then whatever happens in the future after you do it, I mean, whatever happens. Just
It's meant to be.
yeah.
But a good way to think about it is like everything happens exactly how it is, even
It
if
is
it
what it
seems
is.
like
Jesus has a path
it is
for
what
us
it
all.
is. Join the Mormon Brotherhood at.
Oh god.
Link in the description. I'm just kidding.
Dude, stop.
Yeah.
We already got a couple things.
I would say
about
find ways to improve yourself, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is. Improve, and then don't focus too much on, because I think like right now, like nowadays, like society and like culture just like idolizes the idea of codependence. Like romance movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I would say just like kind of stray away from that. Learn to just love yourself before you can love anybody else. Because like at that point, once you learn to love yourself, like you could like be more happy
Well,
with the future.
it's weird. It's weird too because I've noticed this like a couple of times.
Mhm.
It seems like if you're like because like I mean sure everybody probably has thoughts where they're like, oh man, like I kind of want a relationship right now, or like, oh, I miss having one or whatever or whatever. Like when people have those thoughts, I think honestly, like I've noticed this when you like try to pursue it, like when you make it your goal and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like I'll hit her up, and then if that doesn't work, I'll hit up this chick and stuff. Like if you pursue them too much, or like you want it so bad, like you're like, hey, when are you free? Oh, not tomorrow. What about the next day? What about the next? Like when you're too on it, like not even, it doesn't have to be to that extreme, but just like when you're focused on it and you're making it like an effort and you're putting that before like self-care and stuff, and like before worrying about yourself, like honestly, it always seems like
Backfires.
just every chick like won't be interested or something, or they're just like, oh, like whatever or something like that, or it'll just fall off.
It's like girls just have a sixth sense when it comes to
I don't know.
desperation.
I don't know, yeah, or it's like
Clingy.
it's like if you just show them like too much or whatever, they're just like, oh, like this guy doesn't even like, I don't
You
know.
don't got nothing
I wasn't
going on.
even getting at that, but Cody just made me realize something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
well,
they don't
I was
have anything
picking-
going on,
I
like,
was-
they're really.
That's some good
I was
stuff.
piggybacking off what you said, but like, and then also I've realized, because it's happened to me, like I realize it, and then if you just like focus on yourself, if you're like you get to the point where you're like, it's not working, forget it, like whatever, I'm just gonna do me, and you're just doing your own thing, like, because it's happened to me, like, and I'll just be doing like my own stuff, and I'm like, when I'm not worried about it, then people are like, oh, hey, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, hey, like, are you still doing this? Or it's like, oh, like, when do you want to hang out again? And I'm just like, well, now I don't have the time and shit. and then it's kind of like
Exactly.
oh.
And you just keep going on self care until you actually find someone.
But I've noticed that like it's weird. Like if you worry about yourself, like opportunities like that will like tend to present themselves or something like that. Or it's like more. It feels like it's more likely to happen, as opposed to like if you're just like aspiring,
Bro.
like aspiring for that, and then it's just like like it
Some
just won't
spiritual yummies right there.
happen. It's
Bro, you're really smart. The fun. I was just sitting here like.
Spiritual
Like, is
yummies.
that what
you
I
guys
did?
sleep on Cody too much.
Yeah.
coming clutch sometimes.
I will say, like as Josh said, in a new relationship, it's going on. It's been like what, 2 weeks technically, like longer I would say. But
Wow,
yeah.
so
So
you
you've
lied
been
to
lying
us.
to us.
Huh?
You
Yeah,
were lying
hang
to
on.
us.
We said at the same
Oh
time,
my
like, oh, you
God.
were lying.
Exactly what my first
How
thought
long
was.
have you been officially dating?
Officially, like 2 weeks.
So
You just said it was 2 weeks.
No, yeah, 2 weeks. Officially, to be 2 weeks.
Oh.
But you said it's
How much were
technically
you
been
actually
longer.
Technically, been longer.
How much were you actually together? and
What
you
is
didn't
it
say anything?
technically
okay,
date?
technically, I know what he means by the technically. It means like when you guys hang out and you
That one official, but yeah, we're doing like boyfriend girlfriend. thing,
yeah, and you know you're gonna eventually probably, unless something
Huh.
goes terribly wrong in the next couple weeks.
Well,
or-
that's a no
Unless
for
he
him.
texts
Yeah.
you and asks you for help. Just
No.
kidding.
So you
It
know,
just
you-
goes.
Can you help me seal
know.
this deal? Oh, she blocked me.
I
Wait,
got you.
you know that you guys are like together pretty much, but you're just not official.
No.
Yeah, that phase was probably like maybe a little shy of a month long.
Yeah,
So-
for me it was the same thing, and mine was held back because I wanted to ask her parents, just because I was just
Old fashioned.
I'm very old fashioned like that. You know how I do. Yeah. I wanted to do that, so I did that, and that's why it ended up taking a little bit longer.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
But wait. He dodged a question. What is the technical start date?
Yeah, what day was it?
I didn't start dating. It's like
January.
I want to say like no. I wanna
Could
say
you
the
imagine if he was like,
technical-
I'd say like
no.
November
What's the
5th or
official and what's the
something.
technical?
All right, so the official was January
we didn't even
26th.
meet her.
Okay.
The technical, I want to say, was probably
You
early
didn't know.
January, late December.
Mm.
Probably more around early January.
I feel you.
So
I
when
feel you.
we said
I started to suspect.
So he
Jaden's a
was
very
right.
private.
when we called
person.
you out and then you're like, nah, bro, what the fuck? No.
I didn't ask. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut
No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
up,
Bro, you do that thing where like
I'm just saying, bro. It's my business, man. It's my business.
No,
it is okay.
It
I
is your
believe you.
business.
We know
I'm
your,
more willing to open up.
we know your
Nah,
poker face. It's we all knew the technical
Pokey
start date.
Yeah, everyone could tell.
It's written on your
They were
forehead.
just waiting for Jaden to confirm. It's like when you can tell something, but you know something, but when you find out for sure, like it's confirmed.
You're just
by
like, oh, I
someone
knew
else.
it.
You're like, I knew it. That's how it is for me.
It's that Sherlock Holmes feeling.
Yeah, everyone was going Sherlock on Jaden like the last month.
You remember in the past? We don't have to talk about the story. But you remember that crazy story he told like a while ago? And we were like, bro, we're straight up just gonna like text her and ask her. And then he was like, no. And he's like, okay.
That was like
that's a long time
That was
ago.
sophomore freshman year.
man,
Man.
but
That's
you,
a really-
you remember that, right?
I know what you're talking
We're
about.
like, Jenny, we know you're BSing. And then
Yeah.
finally he was like,
I don't know if I want to talk about that
oh
story.
no, I said we don't have to.
Yeah, okay.
Just for our reminiscence.
You
Like
wanna
I
talk
said, I
about-
told you in high school. I was
y'all
like
wanna talk
very, I
about,
was
like,
like
the
very
first date?
immature and like I was a little shit in high school.
First date stories, bro.
Do you?
First date stories?
Yeah.
First
Oh
date
my
stories?
god!
I
So-
didn't think.
tell us
Oh,
how-
remember mine.
I took
Okay.
Elijah to putt golf one time.
Oh yeah, that was
Remember
Were
back
you guys
in
broken up?
y'all made love that night too.
Must be awkward, huh?
Didn't
yeah,
y'all?
dude, we were in
Told me
elementary
that.
school at that time, bro. I remember Elijah had his birthday party at this old place. I forget what it was called, but they had putt
Sounds so
golf.
excited.
Was it
Arcade.
Malibu?
Oh, yeah,
Castle?
Malibu,
dude,
yeah.
that place,
Dude, I remember
they
that
closed
place.
it down.
That place, the castle was the castle. That place was
I
chill.
love
They had,
that.
like,
place.
When you
bumper
think
cars.
about
What's
it,
it called?
what-
Malibu.
Malibu Castle. When you think about it, it was never that busy.
Yeah,
It
I
really
don't know.
wasn't.
It wasn't.
Like
but it
anytime
should've
you
been.
went, like
Well, I
it was
think
like.
there was like a Dave and Buster's like right around the corner.
That's what put the
Dude,
yeah,
I remember actually one of the funnest things there. They had these like water bumper car type.
That's
Of
what we did at Elijah's
They
party.
did, yeah.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
those things.
Those things
Dude.
were. I've never
You could
seen.
shoot like a water.
I've
like, thing at
never seen
someone.
those anywhere else. Like bumper car,
Yeah.
bumper boats. I guess.
Basically,
They had like a little gun that shot out
Yeah,
water.
I've never seen that anywhere
I was
else.
spraying Elijah with water.
I've also never seen dirtier water anywhere else. I'm just kidding.
Catch out the lyrics.
It's probably
Actually,
just
I
from
thought-
like
I
the
thought the
motor.
water was pretty
It's the
cool.
motor oil. Just spraying in someone's face.
That's why. One of them starts smoking.
But that place was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Nick, you got any? You wanted to talk first dates. What you got a first date you like?
Like a first date story.
I don't
Like
know.
what I mean is just like what you did on your first date and like maybe what you would have done.
Like very first ever.
Or just
No, just like I guess someone you were
Put the
talking to
head down.
and you went on a first.
And you
Oh,
prayed with
what?
her?
Yeah.
And you
Got on our
prayed.
knees, put our hands together.
Shut up.
You start off, I put her head down.
My first date was also at church. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. Took her to church.
My man.
Oh my
My man.
I know my first date. Actually,
Like
just
first
recently.
ever?
Like the one you don't count.
First ever.
Which
No, we
first
never
date?
actually went on a date. First official date ever. I told you freshman year, dog. Like, that's why I don't count it. Like,
He's like, my
yeah,
mom
it's
won't give us
immature.
a ride.
Yeah,
He's not gonna pick you up.
pretty
She
much.
won't.
No, first official. I would say my first with my current girlfriend. We went to the drive-in like a couple days ago.
Dude, you should have taken me.
Nah, I'm
What'd you
good.
see?
Hey, how about
What I see?
He's just not
Uh,
about it.
we
This
saw-
has come up like 3 times, like double date, and he's just like, oh. He's like,
Bro, Josh, just take
he's like,
no as an
maybe,
answer,
maybe
bro.
sometimes.
I don't think he
no.
wants to.
Bro,
No, I've told him like maybe, but like it's just
Probably
No, I
not.
get they just started dating. They want to be
You're smothering
just
them. You're smothering them.
I'm gonna smother you in a minute, bro. So look, I'm saying they just started dating.
You're gonna replace
so
that
look,
pillow.
So look, they want to be together. I know how it is. Give them a couple months. The double dates, bro.
I probably might still say nah.
Stop.
He's just done.
I just I
He already
like,
experimented with
Dude,
it beforehand.
It's fun, bro. If you do it right.
Yeah. We
he
saw
just-
Bad Boys for Life and Jumanji.
Bad Boys for
Because
life.
And Jumanji.
Oh, yeah.
I saw
Still-
2 movies of the.
Yeah,
they
they
showed
driving.
two.
They always show two.
Oh, I thought they showed 3.
No, it's 2.
Oh, I've never been.
It's nice.
Yeah,
I
I've never.
wouldn't know.
I want to
You've
go
never
too.
been in Stars and Stripes?
I've never been either.
Slacking, bro.
Never
Bro,
been.
y'all
you
all
gonna
be
have
going and don't
How
invite
you
me.
gonna have a film podcast and pop culture? You don't go to the drive-in.
Bro.
Dude, honestly, it is like the perfect.
Isn't it, I don't even know where it's at.
I'm
It's,
looking for a new
where is this
co-host.
place?
It's kind of far.
It's in New Braunfels, yeah.
Bro, if y'all want a double date, you could be hooking me up. You can have like someone like
What do you
Emily or
mean?
someone bring a friend and then just bring me along and then we'll just be like,
Oh, that's what you did with me and Emma.
yeah, why don't
No,
you do that for
guys-
me?
You guys were just friends though.
Name drop.
Yeah, no, that's what he's asking.
Name
Why don't you
drop.
do that for me?
So
bro?
he
I'm
can
down
bring a
to do
friend
that.
and you're like you and Emma.
Why don't you do that with me?
I'm down to do that with anyone.
Let's
no,
do it.
Every time I ask people,
fuck
they
this
don't
guy,
go
John. No, I'm
with
just
me.
You never
Ask
asked.
me.
You never.
I always ask. I'm
Let's
like, who
see.
wants to go to the drive-in with me and Emily?
Hey,
and it's like,
okay,
We're out
you've-
here. We're
you've
out here
never
being
asked me
single
that.
when you're not asking
You've
us.
never actually asked me that.
I would agree.
I know I haven't asked
agree.
You were like, the drive-in's so cool, bro, and I was just sitting there like, yeah, probably is.
dude, it is honestly.
Let's all make an oath.
It's probably where magic
the food is
happens.
good, bro. Those
It
chicken
is.
strips
Trust
and the
me, bro.
fries.
Let's make an oath. No double dates with Josh.
I agree.
No.
None of us.
No, I'll go with him if you.
All in?
If
All
Emily
in.
or you brings a girl that
All
can
in.
set me up with.
You hear this guy?
It's gonna be one of Emily's friends, man. So
Oh,
Dude, did I tell
That's
wait, hold on,
tough.
wait. Have I told you the story about
You might be in
when
the-
Nick?
might be in
I
the
told
same
Nick I was
spot.
gonna like hook him up with one of
she gave me like a
with one of my
taekwondo,
girl's
like,
friends.
instructor.
no.
All right, so let me tell you this story. This is actually pretty
Wait,
funny.
what story?
So Nick, I was hanging out with my girl, and I was like, oh wait, I know you have like 2 close friends. One of them, I was just like, oh, like, do you think she'd be into Nick? Because I was like, all right, Nick, I got you.
Oh
'Cause
god, this was very
He was
recent.
just, he was just like, bro, does she have any cute friends? I was like, she does. Let me hook you up. Anyways, and so I asked my girl, I was like, oh yeah, do you think your friend would be into Nick? And she's like, honestly, no. I was like, oh damn. No, listen. Wait, listen.
I got
Is it-
no
no.
good-
Listen. The reason is not because of Nick. The reason is actually so much more funny. No, listen. And then I asked, I was like, all right,
Oh,
what
it's
about-
more funny than me being undateable.
no, listen. Then I asked, I was like, what about your other friend? Like, would she be into Nick? And she's like, honestly, like, none of them would. And I'm just like, why? And she, no, but I asked, why wouldn't either of them be, like, into Nick? And she's just like, honestly, they're only into black guys. I was like, what? And I was like, are you,
And you were
serious?
like,
She's
yo, I got a friend, Elijah.
no, she was like,
About
she was
to
like,
make me
yeah,
act up.
She was
About
just
to
like,
make me do something I'm gonna regret.
no, she was like, yeah, they're only into like tall, like big black guys. I was like, dang, like Draymond Green. And
Bro,
she's
I'm
like,
generally
yeah.
tall. I'm
And so
almost,
I thought it was Steven. When I was
Oh.
True, yeah.
but
Bro.
yeah, that's
bro,
I
tell
felt
him
bad
this.
for
Tell
Nick.
him this.
I feel bad for Nick because like
Nick's still
her
trying to
friend,
redeem it.
her friend
No,
is
look,
actually
look,
kinda
It was like
cute,
a
and I
month
thought
ago,
she'd be
he's
good
like,
for Nick.
Bring the girls and whatever guy they're into. I'm gonna be training with basketball. I've been getting into it, and we'll do a one-on-one in the
At the
court, bro.
drive-in.
Watch that dude. Watch that
At
dude.
the
freaking
drive-in.
mess you
Yo,
up,
this
bro.
dude gonna dunk on
He's
me.
going dunk on your ass.
He literally
Oh.
just said she likes, or her friends like tall guys and stuff.
No,
Yeah.
tall black guys.
Tall black guys.
Like it's like she even told me she's like yeah like they only date like black guys exclusively.
Exclusive.
Yeah, like
Jeez, what is it? Club?
Yeah.
Huh?
You gotta be black to get in.
the all black club.
Damn, that's funny. I kind of want to
See what
put
you're
that.
doing, Elijah.
I kind of want to put that on the Instagram thing.
Freaking
too.
cock block.
Right, it's not me.
That's a good one, right? That's a good
You're a
Instagram.
racist cock block.
I might post one on my personal
Of what?
of what we just said.
That clip.
Little clip just there.
Oh.
The last one.
No, yeah.
We'll use the other one for the podcast socials.
Just put that whole clip in there because he was like, "Oh, like I asked one, or I told her to ask one of her friends, and
She said, "Nah."
She said that one wouldn't be interested, and then I asked her,
It's
"What
another
about all the rest of your friends?"
No,
And
I
she
didn't
said,
say shit. Just her two
oh,
closest
but
friends.
then she
All-
said-
honestly, they
yeah.
all wouldn't.
No,
like,
no,
oh,
it was just two of her closest friends. That was it.
"None of them would.
That's really
Are you kidding?
None of the 12 of them." No, I'm just kidding.
Took a survey when around campus. Would you date Nick?
No.
Dude, Loki, have you seen those videos where dudes go around campus with like recording and some dude will just go up and do like a pic? You always show me videos of dudes
Yeah,
picking up
See,
dude,
that's all
chicks.
Cody watches.
We gotta go around UTSA and do that.
We could try.
I don't even go to that school. I wouldn't care. I have nothing to lose. I was just like, hey, like, would you date? Like, would you take this
Well,
survey?
They don't do that. They just do like
the little
corny
pickup-
stuff.
the
Like
corny pickup.
they intentionally try to be like awkward but make it work still, and it
Dude,
does.
we gotta try to get Michael to do that.
Michael won't do it.
I'll have like an
even
AirPod
off
in,
camera,
and you
like
guys will
just
be
with
calling
me,
me.
he'll just go up and then he comes back in like 2 seconds, and I'm like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Oh, I just said I like their shoes or whatever," and I'm like, "And then what happened?" And they're like, "Oh, they just said thanks," and then I just walked away, and then I'm just like,
Oh,
"Michael,
wait, all right, no, all right, no, that gives me an idea. All right, for the next question to everybody, what is your like ideal like what is your game like whenever like you want to try to talk to a girl?
Wait, what you look in them or like how you approach it?
No, like just in general, like how you approach them, or like even like through text or social media. Like, what is your game like?
I just copied the YouTubers."
I'll answer it.
I want to hear Josh's
And
game.
how's that working?
My game is weak as hell.
Actually, it almost worked.
Like straight up.
Did you say your game?
Yeah, straight up worst game.
Now he suddenly agrees with my other story. No, I'm just
Which
kidding.
one? I mean, I still got 100% success, but no,
It's
they
like
don't-
my 3-point game is weak as fuck. Oh, I still have 100%.
I
What?
did.
Like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm not gonna try it again.
This makes me less mad at you for having those stats because like
But it's straight up because like
it's more humbling.
I didn't make the move on Emily, my current girlfriend. She DM'd me. She DM'd me and she was talking to me. And I actually did have a thing for her at the time. Like I had like a secret crush because Jaden was friends of her. They were both in ROTC. So I had seen her talking to Jaden in the hallways and stuff like that. And I was like, ooh, I like that. But
Actually, I showed you.
That's
I
what you
was like,
say to
bro,
yourself?
Like,
Jaden showed me pictures of her on Instagram and I was like,
that's how you know. Because you didn't even know how to do the hand roll.
You
You
said-
didn't know his game's on.
I was like, oh
You
my
said-
God.
I ain't gonna do nothing.
I did nothing. And I was chilling, and then I think she DM'd me, and she said something, and then that was it. And then I was like, damn, bro.
What'd you feel? Were you just like, oh,
Yeah. And I was like, yo,
Is that huh?
I want to DM back, because like the conversation ended. It was a quick thing. And I was like, damn, bro, like it's already over? And I was like, no, bro. And I was like, I got to say something back. And I couldn't think of it. I didn't do nothing. My game was weak. And then
Just like,
a couple
how are
days,
you? Good. You're just like, is that how it's gonna end?
No, so a couple days later, she comes back. And she's like, hey. And I'm just like,
What to do?
hey.
yeah. I'm like, hey, what's up?
I like
And
how you're
This-
paraphrasing.
This is when I was like,
I like how you're paraphrasing. Like, hey.
Hey.
at
She
this
said that.
point, at this point, I was like, yo, I can't let this slip away. So I had I don't know. This is the first time that's ever happened to me.
Lining
so
up.
I did not know if she was flirting with me or not. I was just like, I don't know if she's being nice or she's flirting with me. So I'm just like, you know what? Like, fuck it. And I was like, I gotta go in. I've never done this before. That's when I start spitting like low key game.
Like, low key, how?
You got a secret?
No, I just commented on the fact that Elijah hasn't said much this whole time.
Yeah.
We're going.
I don't got nothing to give
All right, pretty much. I started saying some stuff to her, like saying like, okay, like, oh, you know what I did? It was at the time where the big trend on YouTube and stuff was to send people song lyrics, like
Didn't
to
you-
your ex or something.
Did you just give me? Okay, wait. Whenever I said we were like, okay, like let's talk about what's your game, and then like y'all kind of like looked at me, and I was like, I'll just copy the YouTubers. I swear to God, he gave me like a shitty look, and then now you're like, so what I did was back on YouTube back then
That's jokes.
No, I didn't copy the YouTuber though. I copied a trend.
on YouTube.
It's everywhere,
On
but
YouTube.
I guess no. I forget what song I used, but it was a song. It was a song that people were using, and like the lyric was something like oh, like I have feelings for you.
So
Something
you ended up.
Was
getting-
it Maroon
I
5
just
song?
met
Was it
you.
I forget
So
what it
And
was.
this is crazy.
So wait,
Wasn't
you
that?
so you
That
got
was
with her
middle
by
school,
doing
man.
the music check.
Well, no, hang on. I did that, and then she was like, "Oh my god!" And then after that, she realized it was the lyric thing, and she's like, "Oh, it was the lyric thing." And I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Okay," and I had to keep this going. So then I did start like low key flirting, and I said, hey, can I just get your number and so we can stop DMing on Instagram or like your Snapchat?
Oh yeah, you
or
always do
something.
that.
And then she gave it to me, and then that's when I I only asked for her number or something, and she gave me everything. She's like, oh, like you can have my Snapchat, you can have. She's like,
You can have my address.
You can have whatever you want.
my
And I was
social.
like, oh shit.
Here's my birth certificate.
And
Social security.
Yeah.
After that-
passport, ID.
yeah, I know. So that's what happened.
All my
So
credit card
technically,
info.
I didn't shoot the shot. Emily shot the shot, but then I got the rebound and I put it back up.
Did the put back
Wouldn't
down.
you guys be on different teams?
No, she threw me the lob and I dunked it. That's more like it.
So
Okay.
y'all started off with some pretty terrible team chemistry.
What do you mean, bro?
Let's
Oh,
go
you
to
talking
YouTube.
about the real when I hit her in the ball in the face with the
Oh, actually no, but I guess we could. Yeah,
That was the first time I think we hung out in person. We all hung out one time before I was dating my girlfriend, and we were playing basketball outside my house. It was me and her on team versus Jaden and our other friend Katia, and she was
I'm just playing.
she was wide open. She sent me a screen on Jaden.
That was a good pass, honestly. It
Dude,
was such a good pass.
I was like straight behind the back, Magic Johnson-esque, right to her. It hits her straight in the face. It like, and she wears glasses, as you guys know.
Shit, them shits got knocked off.
Dude, her glasses knocked off. Gave her a black eye. Like,
She sounded just like that. Like
yeah,
fell.
and she was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Bro, that was the best pass ever. What the hell? Catch
Yeah,
it!"
yeah. Josh's first reaction wasn't "I'm sorry." It was, "Dude, that was such a good pass."
Dude, it was. If it goes right here and hits you right at the bridge of your nose, that thing is where it's supposed to be.
He's like, man, give me another teammate, bro. Fuck you.
She's on the ground.
And he
No,
had feelings for her.
But the reason
Get the
why
fuck
we were
outta
playing basketball is because she knew that I liked basketball and that I played a lot. So she was like, a lot of times when she was hitting me up, she was trying to like, you do that thing where like, it's like, oh, I know basketball. Even though she was on like the team, like the B team in 7th grade or something like that.
What?
Yeah, she played in middle school. So she was like, oh, like I played basketball. I was the point guard. And I was just like, oh, word? And like, it was like that, you know?
Yeah, she pointed people to go.
So
Actually,
so-
She's on the sidelines.
Guard,
She threw the pass.
She didn't
all from
catch
middle
it.
school through. Yeah, so my girl played basketball all through. I think since middle school up until high school, like AAU, and she was on like varsity. She was on
She's
varsity.
probably better than you.
No, she's really good though.
Better
She's-
than you?
All right, actually, so let me.
Bro, we
got-
gotta
I've seen
play.
a couple. No, I've seen a
Dude,
couple
hey.
videos. Wait, listen.
Hey, you and her versus me and
Hold
Emily.
on, hold on.
Let's go.
No,
He's
I've
trying to
seen
do the
a-
double. He's trying to
That's not
sneak
a
it
double
in.
date. That's
He's
a,
trying to
that's
sneak
a
it.
basketball game.
He's
Just
trying to
don't fall
sneak
for
it in,
this.
bro.
I've seen a couple videos of her playing in high school, and she was really good. But like now, like since she's played it for so long, she just like it's kind of like, oh, she doesn't want to like. But like she's really good at like shooting. Dude. Like
I mean, that's
she's-
kind of how it is for me. Like I played a
accurate.
lot for a long time, and
But
then
none
it's
of
more
us,
just like a hobby now. It's just like every
none of
now
us
and
have
then.
played consistently for like
I
7
think me and Elijah did. We played
For
like,
no, but I was
almost
gonna say
every
for
single
that
day.
time frame that
Oh.
she has, like middle school through high school.
AAU and
Yeah.
varsity and yeah.
I'd
She
say for a
was-
while, yeah.
None of us have played straight for
she
like
was-
7
she was
years,
really
like
good, dude.
nonstop.
And she's still really good.
That's why we're here.
Bro, she's got a ball up with us.
We're
bro.
not getting fucking college.
She's honestly, she's really good.
One time, Emily almost came when we were balling up. She's like, "Oh, I want to play."
Dude, we gotta
Let's
ball
swat
up
that
again.
shit, boys.
We gotta ball up again soon.
We'll do it.
Yo,
Soon. We
you
can go to
bring
Foster
us
Springs.
Dude, let's do it.
Where?
Yeah, dude, I didn't want to
Right
say
down the
anything to you.
You know that tall dude that we played with?
He goes to UTSA.
He does, yeah.
Yeah,
I seen him.
I meant
I
to
seen
say
him,
that.
yeah.
Oh, that
see him.
Julian?
Oh, the
Julian,
guy that
whatever.
was like dominating Cody.
I remember his name because they just kept shouting like Julian. Freaking
Alright,
dumb.
we're getting off track.
Yeah.
I'm talking about basketball.
What else we got, bro?
Oh wait, Nick, they
Valentine's
still got to
Day.
talk about their game.
No, yeah, that's right. You want to talk about y'all game?
Oh, I said I copy YouTubers.
Is that it,
Yeah,
Nick?
that was.
At least he's on.
Nick, do you have any?
Your story
game?
was just longer.
I don't. I'm trying to think of like how to approach it. No, because like I haven't really like just recently I
It's
just
like
started talking to someone.
He's like,
I mean, I honestly think nowadays it's the easiest time for anyone to have game. Like when you can say anything through a screen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in person, there's people that have the confidence to do it, or people that gain the confidence by continuously doing it. And then there's some people that's like, I don't really want to do it. Like, I mean, I'll talk to people, but I'm not gonna go and just, like try to spit game. But I feel like anybody through a phone nowadays, if you follow someone and they accept it, you could just send them a DM and like that's it. It's that easy, and it either works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's easier nowadays for most people.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I'll just like I'll either get their like either Snapchat or number and I'll just like text them a bit. And like I don't know why, but like sometimes I'll just be like a bit mean, but like in a funny way, just like teasing.
Damn,
And just being like
Damn, you look fat in that dress.
like get your
honestly
ass
shit
outta
like
here.
that.
Camera puts on 5 pounds. How many cameras you got? on
What do you say that to mean?
Can
Well
put
no,
some 5
like
pounds,
if I'm
10
talking to them in
cameras.
person, I'll just like tease them. I'm not like fucking "Oh, you look like shit today." If this is like in the context of the situation.
So your game is to be mean, like as in a joking way.
Just like joking, but like also like I'll be like,
Well, don't say be mean. Just say, oh, you like to joke around.
yeah, I'll joke. I don't take myself too seriously because I don't want to be like an uptight kind of dude. I think that my side like yeah, like I'm like alright looking, but like I'm pretty like funny, and I think that's like a selling point for like my personality. And girls like a funny dude.
Not a mean one.
Well, dude, if I said something mean, they were just like, oh, like, dude, I was joking. I was like, I wouldn't just keep going with it.
Oh god. I mean, you got anything else for the
So your
Valentine's Day?
strategy
Elijah,
is
bro.
to be an asshole.
Elijah, you wanna
Bro,
say-
no, that's not clarify. I just like
We gotta
I don't
get-
take myself too seriously.
We got to get Elijah to start talking for a bit before we wrap up.
Let's
the
just
episode.
let's just
Elijah,
stay
what do you
quiet.
look for in a girl?
Yeah, Elijah here. I'll let Elijah speak.
Let's just do silence for the
This
last
is-
10 minutes. No, I'm
All I'm
just
gonna
kidding.
say.
This is hang on. I'm gonna intro you real quick.
We
We got
Can
a
we do ASMR style?
we got our friend Elijah right here. He's gonna give you some good advice on Valentine's Day 2020. His love life.
Pissing me off.
He knows everything about the female anatomy. He's got you, Elijah.
All I'm gonna say.
Look, all I'm gonna say, it's already me like 2 seconds.
Do you like the smooth jazz radio voice?
Oh, I can't do it right now.
It goes from like, it's like
All I'm gonna say is I don't have no game, and I won't lie. That's all I'm gonna say.
You should have started with that. I won't lie. I don't have any game.
That's
I don't
pretty
agree.
much everyone said.
Nick said he just bullies them, and then me and Josh would copy you.
Stop taking it out of context.
What? What'd you say? I can't hear that frequency.
Alright.
Shut the fuck up.
Are we ready to wrap it up, Nick, or you got anything?
Wait, how
else?
long have we recorded?
We were recording for a long time,
It's
bro.
about like an hour 25. Bro, I feel like there's more to talk about.
Wait, how long have we been recording for?
An hour 25.
No way.
I thought it was 2.
I thought it was 4.
What? What are y'all on? I'm just kidding, dog.
Well, I mean, you
what
took
else-
a long
Okay,
time to get here.
we have a little bit of time since it's only 1:20. What else do you have to talk about, Nick? Any ideas?
I mean, we've gone through pretty much all of our relationship stuff except for Elijah's. 'Cause
Well, Elijah,
I don't want to talk about him, bro.
He's kind of just like
he's kind of just here to add his input
the oracle.
and roast people.
We'll call him the
The
oracle.
Oracle.
The Oracle.
So anything else, Nick?
I don't know.
You don't got nothing?
You're not gonna shout out the
Nah.
sponsors? No, I'm just kidding.
What sponsors? We're trying to get sponsors.
What is your sex life like?
Oh, you want to talk about how when you lost your V card?
We can do that
Really?
if you want to. I mean, it's Valentine's Day.
God.
That's pretty.
That's pretty vulgar.
Bro, that
Just
is,
for
like,
Valentine.
Dog, like,
We'll give some tips.
I don't even think the audience wants to hear that. Like, 'cause they don't even know us. Why
Bro,
does it
bro.
matter to them?
We'll give some
I can
tips.
feel it's funny between us, but
we
like,
got like 10-year-olds listening. They want to know, like,
So they don't mess
this is
up.
not something you want to feature 10-year-olds.
Well, they still listen to it.
yeah,
Bro, when you were 10, you probably listened to stuff like this.
yeah. Jaden
I
was.
know
I didn't go on. I didn't go and look up podcasts about like sex and how to lose your V
We're not,
card.
we're not talking about
When you're
sex,
10,
bro.
you're not gonna search up Valence.
Okay, well, Nick,
yeah,
if
you
your-
would search
if
up
your story
Valentine's
is
stuff.
funny, you can tell it. Is your story funny?
Y'all searched that up when y'all was 10.
No.
Y'all searched that up when
He
y'all was
did.
10.
I never.
I was
just
playing with
searched-
toys, enjoying my kidhood when I was 10.
You
I don't
did.
know.
I didn't know
Watch out.
podcasting.
Watch
exists.
out.
I don't think they did.
All right. You want to tell the story of my not first kiss, but one of my first kisses with the girl I was talking to.
Is it funny?
It's not. It was a little awkward actually, because I was gonna try to kiss her on the lips, and she just went like pecked me on the cheek. No.
Like that video.
Where the guy's just like,
Oh,
and he just like kisses.
He's
her
like,
hair.
damn. Nick.
Oh yeah.
Bro, you got played.
Yo, this dude.
No, I ended up dating her,
This dude. This shit's.
Bro.
but like it was just the
Bro, he
first
kinda
kiss.
looked like the dude from that video.
Wait, which one? Which one? Was it?
Most recent.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, but that was your first kiss?
No, not my first kiss,
Oh, okay.
Wait, how did that happen? I wanna
but
hear
like
this.
our first kiss as a couple.
I've never heard this, but I want to hear this.
What kind of shit is that?
So after we went on our first date, it was like I think we went to go see that Power Rangers movie. It came out a long time ago.
Damn, that was your first date?
Power Rangers?
No, with her.
Oh, okay.
Right. So this is I've dated someone, and now like this is a different person. This is our first date as a
Okay, but
couple.
your first date's Power Rangers?
We went to go see Power Rangers.
Let him tell the story.
Bro, when all this cutesy shit happened, like we'd reach for popcorn and like we'd touch hands and shit. It was so freaking.
And
It was
the Power
cute, and I'd be like,
And then the Power Rangers just ruined it.
yeah, they were just like Megazord. No, but after that, the first day went pretty well,
Might have to change it.
and then I went to her
Cut the
house
story out.
to like hang out, and her friend and their boyfriend.
Timer again.
Oh yeah.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Bro, don't do. Okay, dude, you cut me off in the middle of it. You already wasted
All
my
right,
time.
we'll keep going.
Let's go, bro.
So I went over to her house,
Oh,
and her friend and their
2 minutes and 50 seconds left.
her friend and her
15
boyfriend
seconds, Nick.
were there, and so like it was pretty much like a couple, and then like me and this girl, they like were getting
Why were
together.
they doing that right after y'all went to a date?
They were
Was
just
it a
like,
double
no, this is a different day.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And so like they were all like cuddling and stuff, and I was just kind of there like a sardine, like next to her. I was like should I just put my arm over her? So like I did, and I was like worried, but then like she just leaned in, and I was like, oh dude, like, this is nice. And then like the night goes,
for her
we finish
breasts.
watching like Netflix or whatever we do.
You reached for the breast.
No, like literally, come here.
Yeah, there was a long pause. Right
Dude,
there.
I just did this, and then she just leaned into it.
So
And
you
then you
weren't-
just
you weren't like,
No, I wasn't that bold yet.
okay,
That bold.
it came later.
Yeah, but after the night ends, I just like I say bye and all that, and I'm just like, all right, bye, and like I hug her, and I just look at her like 3 seconds. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kiss you. I didn't say that, but like, in my mind, I'm like,
Exactly what happens in the video.
in my
He's
mind-
like, can I kiss you? And he's just like,
no. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I hope she knows like this is like where you're supposed to
he's
kiss.
just like,
No, I know what you mean. It's like
And then
that pause where
like
y'all
she
just
paused,
look
and
at
then
each
she just like pulled and like hugged me really quick, and I was like, oh, okay, like
other. She got afraid. She got afraid.
yeah, she got afraid, and then I pulled out again, and I tried, and then I looked at her, and I was like, and then she just kissed me on the cheek, and I was like, okay, and then I was like, we'll kiss
That's
in the
not.
lips later.
That's not on you. That's not on you. That was,
Yeah, she was just really nervous, and then
gotta
she was like,
roast
okay,
it, bro.
bye, and then
Throw
she,
You did
Nice.
good. You
and
did
then she
your
was,
part.
yeah, dude, I was just like, all right,
90% of the way. Then hold.
yeah,
Yeah, bro, that sounds like an L.
Nah, I think that's.
can't teach a horse to drink
It's kind
water.
of funny. I like it.
Oh, but yeah, it was awkward, but then after that, we had a good relationship, and
I will say.
it was
Yeah.
honestly, looking back at the awkward parts of your relationship, you just laugh at it because it's like, dude, we used to be like that.
I will say that was
I
a
can
good
probably look-
story.
You probably look
Right.
back and you're just like, I hit Emily in the face with the basketball.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny.
It was funny.
You still laugh at it, bro.
Yeah. JD, quit messing with the mic,
Try
bro.
to fix it, man.
Damn, bro. This is why we don't get this dude on the
This
cast.
joint.
Jaden's always biting stuff, man. Jaden, stop.
Oh,
Oh my god, hang on. Let me.
do you have a
finish it.
story?
Nah,
About
this
what?
dude,
About
Jaden's
what?
What were you whispering for?
I was saying that. I just said that was a good story.
Oh, thank you.
All right, good job, Nick. You kept it under 3 minutes again.
No way. That was not 3
You did it
minutes.
in like 2 and 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Nice.
And that was with y'all cutting me off.
Mm,
Freaking stupid.
okay.
Oh, my B.
That was. I mean,
Fuck.
you did. That was good.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly,
How was the trunk?
the whole it's the
I didn't have my first kiss till I was with Emily.
Yeah.
So I was, how old was I? I was 18.
I have a friend who hasn't. Actually, never mind. That isn't routine. But there's some people who just like
No, but you just
who
gotta
just do it later, like, and
No,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter, dude.
No, bro, there's nothing
Whatever.
wrong. You gotta just do what's right.
Don't ever feel like rushed just because your friends around you are like getting in relationships. You know, like you feel
Dude,
obligated.
that's how Jaden was for me, bro. This dude was always flaming me. Like, literally all of high school until I started dating Emily, this dude was just like, bro, like, you're such a loser. Like, how you not dating no one, bro? And I was like,
It's okay. It's
Shut
okay.
up,
You don't need to
bro.
feel
That's
ashamed.
fucking
'Cause this was you in
mad
high
cap.
school.
That is mad cap, dog.
Madcap. Where's the hat? We gotta get a hat whenever someone's capping.
Mad,
I got you.
Madcap disease.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the plane. Stupid.
nah, but like, no, yeah, I remember. I mean, if we're gonna talk that, mine's not really embarrassing at all. So I'm not even gonna talk it. I'm just gonna say it worked.
Yeah.
The only maybe
You
the
just
only
gotta
thing,
be confident.
well, the
in
only
it.
thing maybe embarrassing about it was since I had never done it before, I was like, I don't know how to like go about it. Like I've never kissed anyone.
Better
You know?
watch YouTube.
I did not look. I'm
Copy
not-
the YouTubers.
I didn't do that. No. What I did is I didn't know like how long you wait in a relationship till you kiss. You know, nowadays it's like first date and you're like, oh, like I'm eating ass. So I mean, some
Oh my
people,
God.
no, some people
Yeah,
are, bro.
some
Some
people-
people are. I'm not,
First date, I'm eating ass.
I'm
Who do you
not
know
doing
that's
that.
done that?
I'm not me.
Yeah, you're like some people do that. Who do you
Michael.
know?
Oh
Michael.
man.
Has
come
he?
on.
Hey, you asked me, man. So I'm saying.
Wait, Michael. I don't know if
I
he's done
doubt
that.
Michael.
Oh no,
has.
I'm not saying he's ate ass. I'm just saying he's done. I'm saying he's done. I'm using
been
it as
very
like sexual
forward.
shit.
Oh.
First date.
Well, yeah, because like, it's kind of like in our society now. It's like, oh, one night stand.
It's more like it seems like it's like hookup culture. It's like
I
it's
mean,
more
there's a
prominent
song by
nowadays.
21 Savage called "One Night."
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dude, that's
so,
Lil Yachty. It's like I just want
Yeah, it is
you.
Lil Yachty.
Oh, then there's two songs.
Okay.
Show me it.
What?
later.
I'm sure 21 Savage has one as well.
No, yeah, I'm pretty
Dude,
sure it's
but
called
One
"One
Night.
Night."
One.
All right. So I didn't know
I think
like
he used
what,
the numbers. So
I didn't
it
know
wasn't,
what the
like,
time
copyright.
frame was for that. I was like, oh, we've been dating for this long. Like, should I kiss yet? Like, even just like a normal peck. Like, I'm not talking making.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
gets to the
talking
point when
peck.
like you're dating, you're like, all right, when do we start doing stuff like, you know, like
I don't know. I didn't know what. I just didn't know when to do a normal kiss. It's like a. I didn't know. I was like trying to think. What? say something? Do I have to name drop the girl? It was Emily. So, anyway. No, it was just like, I didn't know when to do it. So I honestly think it was like, I think it was almost like, dude, shut up.
I didn't say anything.
This is why, like, the editing, this is going to be annoying.
I didn't say anything.
I'm going to hear, like, noises off to the side and people are trying to tell us.
I didn't say anything.
Because we got all the mics on. No, but pretty much it was just like, it was like 3 or 4 weeks. So it was almost a month, or pretty much a month. And I was like, dude, I still haven't kissed her. I was like, I don't know, like, when, I guess this is the time now.
Dang, man.
So I didn't know how to do it. So then I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I think I just did it, and that was it. There was nothing wrong. Like, she knew, like, I guess she, like, sensed it. Like, she knew, like, oh, shit. Like,
You better kind of just like help each other.
She's probably thinking the same thing. She's like, it's been a fucking
Oh,
month.
jeez.
I know.
Usually
Should've
the shit
just
like,
been like, bro, like,
what'd you say?
Alright. I'll just.
you want me to tell the story of my first kiss?
No, I want to hear what Jaden said.
What?
Yeah, when's your kiss?
Well, you were just, I said, what'd you say?
Oh, that I said something?
No, yeah, you were, who said?
He didn't say nothing. You just laughing.
Bro. Cat.
Flag on plane.
I didn't say anything.
Dude, the podcast is supposed to be
Police.
filled with content, not like little giggles off to the side.
Okay. Alright.
So you know, alright.
No, I was just laughing at the story.
So, Nick, what you got anything to say?
Yeah, I just told the story of my first kiss. Not my first kiss, but like one of my first kisses with someone.
one of my, wait.
Just be confident in it,
Nick
bro.
has a
Even
ton
if
of
you're
first
unsure.
kisses. Nick's low key.
First time you ate ass.
Yeah, you want to talk about that, Nick?
No.
We can do one vulgar
I just
story.
mean,
don't
that's
knock it till you try it.
One vulgar story before we wrap it up.
Come on, Nick, that's a good story to end off on, dude.
That's gross.
You don't have to name
I
drop.
don't
You don't have
wanna
to name
listen
drop.
back to this.
Bro,
You don't have to name
but
drop.
You don't
did
need to. You can go ahead and use process of elimination.
Okay, we'll just call it your first kiss, because that's like a kiss.
First kiss with a butthole.
First time you kissed ass.
Well, Nick, hold up.
First time you've kissed.
Bro, shut up, dude. Hold up.
No, we can't go there. Because something crazy is gonna come up, man.
First time kissing rectum.
First time.
I like a weasel.
Who here has done it?
Kissing rectums?
Elijah, have you?
I have not.
Jaden, have you?
Eating ass?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Cody, have you?
He doesn't have the opportunity.
Nick, have you?
Yeah. Okay, that was a very loaded question.
I want
We
to.
obviously know.
We're just gauging the
Loaded
room
with
here.
3 words. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Nick, how was it?
Just do it, dude. It's just like,
Do you like?
do it,
Do you
dude.
taste what they ate?
Oh my gosh.
Oh
I remember
my
Steven used
God.
to say
If
that.
you want to get some taste,
Yeah.
have them have some Taco Bell before.
Get the fuck out of here. You eat Taco
It's
Bell?
basically chocolate slushy.
No, I don't get my ass eaten.
Oh my God!
Bro, what are you? You're just like, this is preposterous. You brought it up. Shut up.
Wait.
Actually, I brought it up.
Did we just get a
I want the credit.
Did we just get a confession out of you, Nick?
What? Yeah, I don't care. I
Your ass
do.
eaten?
Oh no, I have. I said I don't. What I'm saying is I do.
Wait,
You do eat ass.
Have you?
Yeah.
you do?
If you have, well then you
Have
do.
you?
No, I
thought-
do. Like it's a
you-
freaking like it's a job.
Common thing.
Like I go out tomorrow and it's part of my work. But I've done it in the past.
Set time already.
How many times you've done it total? You think?
I don't count it, dude.
What?
It's not
You have to-
something
Dude,
like,
if you
all
can't
right.
even
Come
count
on,
I
if
turned-
You,
I-
if you
lost
can't
count.
Bro,
You
bro.
can't count it. It must be
can't
like a
count it,
crazy
so
long.
long.
So you do it.
No, just because you can't count it's a lot. Maybe
Do
I
you
just
brush
don't-
your teeth like 4 times a day?
Bruh.
Now, what
Dude,
do
I'm
you
not
do?
like
What do you do
about to
after?
do it. I'm not about
Does
to
she-
do
does
it.
the girl-
I
does
turn
the
to
girl
the
kiss
side
you after,
and I
like-
mark it on my freaking blackboard.
Hold on, time. So like,
You're
does a
getting
girl
after
kiss you after? Because
Oh, no, I can't
honestly,
do
if I
that.
was a girl and a guy did that to me, I wouldn't kiss him. Like,
It's like, oh, bro, it's like your lips are just on my ass.
yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like when a girl like sucks your dick and you kiss it. It's like it was on.
Why'd you whisper?
I
Where'd
mean,
my dog get here?
I feel like that's different, though, you know?
Dude's a narc.
Oh, because it's your pee pee.
I mean, shit doesn't
PP
come out of
rated.
it.
This is a PP rating.
That is
score.
true.
Still,
Like
piss
Bear
comes out of
Grylls,
it.
Bear Grylls drinks his own pee, but you don't see him like
So you kiss
sucking
Bear
his
Grylls
own
by that
ass.
logic?
Well, Nick, how do you do it?
Eating
Is
his
it-
own
are
shit
you
to
like-
survive.
are you-
Why do you want me to go so into this?
I'm stuck on a
For any,
boat.
like-
Are you moving the tongue around, or what are you doing?
No, don't go that deep. Don't go that deep into detail.
Bro, if you want to practice,
No, stop.
Oh,
No, 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 no,
Stop.
no, no, no.
For those of you that are only listening, Nick just said if you want to practice, and then he put up the okay sign and put it to his mouth, and we were like, we cut him off.
fuck
To
off.
those who are listening, you had to add that in.
Well, because
really?
they can't see it. And you only see it if you're on YouTube. If you're listening,
God.
like you got to know what Nick
Oh,
just
that's
did.
true.
Yeah, that's why
This
I
almost was my
I
favorite
add it
episode
sometimes
until y'all
because
brought
they
this
can't-
up.
They can't tell what's going on. unless
Wait,
you
Nick,
see it.
Nick, tell us how that even like came up?
Well, yeah, hang on. I actually
Because you gotta
at least
ask.
do
I
this.
feel like you can't just. They're gonna be like, oh,
at
what
least
the
do
hell?
this. How did it come up the first time? Was it planned or did you just like I'm just gonna do it? Like
Yeah, I was just like, I'm just gonna try it, and then it's like,
so what you were
So
like
it was dirty.
okay. So did she expect you to like
you just do it.
eat the other thing, or did she expect you to like put it in, or you were like I'm gonna lick the ass? How did it happen? Like I'm just trying to see. Like there's no way you're just like let's say if I'm you and you guys are just hanging out.
No.
You're not just gonna be like and like flip them over and just like go for it. Like how did it get to that point?
Actually, that's a.
Jen, you were just like, you were like,
No, I'm just
I'm just
this
trying
is
to
the
fix
only
my
story we
words.
can talk about.
Is this the ending story?
this has got to be the ending story.
We'll wrap it up on this, but like
This is like the fight scene and like Endgame.
yeah. So how
We've gotten to the end
ass
of the
scene.
story.
how does
This
it
is-
even
this
how
is
does
the
it get
end
to
game.
that point? Like
Oh
how
my God.
Bro, you just do it, and then
Whatever
like,
it takes.
and then you gotta be like, oh, like, do you like that? It's just like,
no, but like I know it's consent, but like how did it get to the point where they're in front of you and the hole is right there?
Bro, y'all are a bunch of marks.
no comment, no comment.
You didn't want to explain it?
Wait.
No,
So,
I'm genuinely like
so you didn't
I
plan
get
it
that.
out?
No comment.
You didn't plan it out, right?
No
that's the
comment.
question.
Honest day.
Nick, come on.
At
bro.
this
Better
time.
eat this.
In his
and
planner.
this, yeah.
Oh, well, not like that, but I would
Meal
be
number
like,
4, ass.
I would give them like the bleach kit or whatever.
Oh god.
You put chemicals where your mouth is, then.
No, I'm just
It's
like
better than having
How long-
shit where your mouth is.
my
What if they eat some chemicals?
Taco Bell, that radioactive food.
You want secondhand Taco Bell or like maybe a little bit of
Secondhand.
bleach?
This is gonna be a good podcast.
Maybe a little
My-
bit of bleach,
My
right?
curiosity is just coming from like I don't know how it gets to that point. I want
Try it, bro.
And I'm sorry, are you
No, but
consuming
like I'm
it?
saying, like, are you like, do you plan it ahead of time? Like, oh,
Wait, hold on.
There's some
Wait,
stuff
I
where you
think-
just
I think-
like. There's
I
some
think the
stuff.
question here is, are you asking for advice from Nick so you can like?
No, I mean, if I wanted to do it, I could do it. But like I'm saying,
Then why are
like,
you asking how it gets to that point?
for the content? We're doing a podcast.
I think
Nick.
you're trying to know.
Really? It's not
so
like
you
we're
can
hanging
do
out
it.
like you and
So
me.
you
We're
can do
we're
it.
like we're hanging out one on one. And I'm just like,
He's
so
on the fence.
Nick, how
Well, I
do
mean,
you?
this is actually a conversation that we would have anyways.
It might, but
Josh
like,
said he got up on the fence. He said, for the podcast, like up on the fence. You were on the fence.
Yeah,
What?
I said you were on the
All
fence.
right.
Probably
My,
doing it-
my,
probably doing it for the advice,
I don't
bro.
gotta hide it. Like if I wanted to do it, I could do it. But like I'm gonna say I
I didn't
haven't.
do it.
Emily's gonna watch this and be like, oh.
She can watch it if she wants.
I know, but
you
she's-
can
she's
either
gonna
like
be bro,
ask.
like-
You can just either ask them before
Ask?
it
I see what you like with 2 S.
and just be like, hey, like I want to try something new, or if it's just like in the heat of that moment,
You're
just
like,
like,
hang
if
on
you're
a second,
back
I'm gonna
there,
try
just
something.
like do it, and if
So
they're just
it was heated the moment you just did it.
yeah, and if they respond,
Did you
I'll
know
just be
what
like,
to do, or were you just like I'm just gonna?
yeah, I don't know, just stick your face down. I mean, I know what I'm doing now, but like, just stick your
Yeah,
face
I
down there.
He practiced.
I
remember?
regret bringing this up.
He
No,
practiced.
genuine curiosity.
Wait,
no,
how is it not planned out if you practiced?
No, I'm saying like I know what I'm doing now.
Genuine
It's
curiosity.
like J. Cole's wet dreams, except he's practicing eating ass.
Genuine curiosity. No roasting. Like,
Who's
did
watching?
it taste like anything, or was it just like skin?
Just tastes like skin. Yeah, that's a good one.
one.
Just tastes like skin.
Okay. Like, what did they do?
I
Were they,
never
like,
did
were they
this
like, oh, what the
before.
hell? Or were they just like,
It's like,
Oh no.
it's like,
so they weren't objected to it? They were
Yeah,
like,
they're
I
just
can
like,
tell you
oh.
a pro, but baby, be gentle. The J. Cole's new remix.
bro, y'all want to hear it so bad until I start talking. You just start talking
Ass
over me.
dream.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm just kidding.
Last episode, bro.
Huh?
Last episode for all these dudes.
Yeah, but these dudes are gonna have to get kicked off.
What?
Bro,
I even said I
you
regret
guys have been
bringing this
having
topic.
off to the side conversations like the whole podcast.
I just said y'all are some narcs. That's all I said.
Yeah, and then you ask me, and then you just talk to him. You know why it's called a Cosmic Kickback?
Josh
Because we
has
kick
been-
you off and you don't
Josh
come
has
back.
been the one
Shut up,
asking
bro.
you the question.
Yeah.
Josh has been the one asking you the question.
I'm just
You're
trying to keep the
infinitely
conversation going. Like,
Okay,
stuff
okay,
that-
okay. I'm sorry.
On that note, Jaden's never coming back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed his time on here, and especially on the pilot season.
I'm sorry.
All right, we're gonna wrap up the Valentine's Day episode.
Wait, hold up.
No, shut up.
I just want to say
Shut up.
goodbye to the audience.
Can we end it with
Though
the
you
J.
may
Cole song?
never see, the
Oh,
remix. I never did. All right, I just want to say goodbye.
my first.
My time as a guest on the show was it's
Short-lived.
cherished
He was a number
and
two.
short-lived. I'm going to take it with me along my career of being a guest on podcasts. So, be well. I do not.
He's gonna be back in the next
You
one.
don't know what,
I do not.
you don't know
vouch
what you're
for-
like. You'll have a prepared speech.
I do not vouch for
He didn't know he was gonna be booted.
ass eating. I would say so. Be safe.
Dude, the one thing is like, there's a freaking what's the word? A stigma against it, because it's like, I don't know,
As
until you
well
try
there
it,
should
bro.
be because it's not normal, but
It's made to expel.
not to.
Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Valentine's Day episode. We hope you have enjoyed. We hope you have enjoyed the 2 episodes you've gotten this week. Starting up again next Tuesday, so a couple days from now, we'll be discussing Oscars 2020. I think it'll just be Nick and I. Maybe we might have one other person. We're not gonna have Jaden.
I'm banned too.
We don't know. We don't.
Watch the Oscars.
So we're gonna be talking that. Thanks for listening to the Valentine's Day episode. We'll see you guys a year from now.
Hope you guys learned important lessons from all of our relationships over the past couple years.
And so yeah, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. As you can see, I think Nick's gonna have a happy Valentine's Day. I feel good for Nick.
I hope so.
I think Nick's gonna have a good Friday.
We'll come back next year and just see how it's then.
At the start of our next podcast, we'll let you know if Nick had a Valentine or not.
Oh man, I'm gonna look back at this and
What did you have for dinner?
So we'll talk that. We'll talk that. We'll talk Oscars. We'll talk Oscars. We'll talk.
Chocolate
bro, you do. Oh my god.
We'll talk Oscars. We'll talk the snubs. We'll talk who won. We'll talk it all. But we're gonna start.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's jokes, bro. That's jokes.
No more jokes.
Fun, dude.
Elijah only talk when he interrupts.
I might have to edit a lot of this for the first time ever in podcast history.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. So next week we'll talk all things Oscars. We'll talk Oscar snubs, who won everything, and we'll discuss. Next week
Discuss future guests.
I'm gonna cut all this out and start with when I actually get a clear audio.
Nah, bro. You good? You good?
This is a real conversation between us.
It's real interruptions.
Next week we'll talk Oscars, everyone who won, Oscar snubs. We'll see if Nick had a Valentine or not. So for the one time only, don't roast Nick in the comments. Give Nick encouragement to try and find a Valentine.
I like how there's a little.
Yeah.
I like how there's a little side story going on in our podcast.
Yeah. So thank everyone for listening. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to my girlfriend Emily. Do you want to shout out your girlfriend, Jaden?
I'll say happy Valentine's to everybody in the world, and special happy Valentine's to my girlfriend Stephanie.
Steven?
Stephanie.
Oh,
Okay, thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.
bye.